First and foremost, we want to give all praises, honor, and glory to
Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakakadash.
Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. And we're going to get into it. You know, we're going to speak a little bit on the chosen. Really should have titled it the chosen vessels, but the chosen is all right. You know, because when you read in the scriptures, you know, a lot of people have a problem with favoritism. You know, when you hear chosen, it automatically implies that if somebody's chosen, that means somebody else is not. And that means somebody's being excluded from something. Typically, this world will tell you that, you know, oh, it's not good. No, you can't have favorites. Having favorites is a normal thing, all right? Because it shows that you have a, you know,
Standard.
Exactly, a standard. Everybody has different tastes, you know? You have a favorite food, you have a favorite color, you know, you have a favorite type of music. It's just you, right? So of course, if we have favorites and we have different people and things that we like, so does the Most High. And the scriptures let you know who are the favorite. The Most High has a favorite, or as a matter of fact, let's start with that. Yeah, 2nd Ezra, the 5th chapter. Let's go into a few of the Most High's favorites, and then we'll go into the nation of Israel. Because see, you can everything can get narrowed down, right? You have a favorite type of animal, right? Your favorite animal are dogs. Well, within dogs, you have different kinds of dogs. So it's the same thing. The Most High's favorite nation, his chosen nation, is the nation of Israel. But within Israel, there's different kinds of Israelites. You know?
Let's look up the word favorite. It says here, a person or thing regarded with a special liking. It says partiality, support. It says small curl hanging loose upon the temple. It says one considered most likely to win.
Most likely to win. Why is that? Because the victory is given by the Most High. The scriptures tell you that.
It says regarded with particular liking, esteem or preference.
Esteem or preference. So that's what the Most High does. The Most High has favorites. That's what I prefer Jacob and Esau.
I favor this over that.
There you go. Because it's the Most High's will.
Don't they usually use the word ordained?
Ordained, right. And when the Most High ordains something, it's going to come to pass. But just like he ordained Jacob to be the chosen, because he favored Jacob over Esau. All right, there's different Joseph, for example. The way the Most High had the story of Joseph go versus his brothers, clearly there was a favoritism there. And he even showed it through the love that Jacob had for Joseph. You know? So yes, the Most High does have favorites. And the scriptures tell you that. But going back to the topic, matter of fact, let's bring that out in 2nd Ezra, and then we'll go.
Just get to the point.
Yeah, about the favorite.
This is 2nd Ezra chapter 5, verse 23. And said, O Lord, that bearest rule of every wood of the earth and of all the trees thereof.
Right, the Most High bears rule over it because everything is subject to the Most High. Trees are living creatures. You know, they don't move like we move, but they're living creatures. They have spirits. You know, they bear fruit. They have life. Okay. What?
They promote life.
They promote life.
We need trees to surround.
That's it. Any inanimate thing it's not alive. So for them to take in carbon dioxide and then release oxygen, that is life. There's a life form. Okay, photosynthesis and all of that. Well, see how they moving, so they know. That's right.
And of all the trees thereof, thou hast chosen thee only one vine.
So there goes the word chosen, right? Of all the trees, he's chosen him one vine. Go on.
Verse 24. And of all the lands of the whole world, thou hast chosen thee one pit.
Of all the lands of the whole world, thou hast chosen thee one pit. The word pit is another way of talking about land. Why is it going to say of all the lands you chose one pit? Because the pit is a landmass. All right, and that pit is talking about Israel, the land of Israel. Go on.
And of all the flowers thereof, one lily.
So the Most High's favorite flower, or his chosen flower, is a lily. Go on.
Verse 25. And of all the depths of the sea, thou hast filled thee one river. And of all builded cities, thou hast hallowed Zion unto thyself.
There you go. So thou hast hallowed Zion unto thyself. So the Most High's chosen people are what? The nation, the Israelites. Okay, the nation of Israel. That's what the scriptures say. You know? So people have a problem with that. But look, in today's society, people are too quick to put the Most High in a box of what they expect, right? The Most High got to meet their expectations. That's not a God that I would want to worship. So because of that, that's not the Most High. People don't know the Most High. They paint a picture of what they would like their God to be, and then they say that's the Most High. So when you tell them things that are from, this is why people don't like actually going into the Bible and reading these things, because then you start to get a different picture of who the Most High is, who the God of the Bible is, versus who the God of the world tells you is, right? Quote unquote, Jesus Christ and all of that. You read the scriptures, you're like, hold on, this is a different energy. You read the Most High, read about the book of Joshua. What the Most High told us to do, he told the Israelites to go into the city of Jericho and the land of Canaan and to slay them, to kill men, women, and children, and to burn their houses. As in words that smite the city with the edge of the sword. That's what the Most High said. But people can't even imagine that. Violence, hey, the Most High, everything, if we believe that everything happens according to the Lord's will, that includes violence. Violence wouldn't be in the world if the Most High didn't allow it.
Oh yeah, just like on the product side, so, like people do that in general. They say like people stick, like I forget the saying, but basically people stick with who they, you keep their company, like the company that you keep.
Right.
So basically, we do that on the carnal tip. Some like relationship wise, people are like, yo, I can't get down with that. If he or she is doing this, that, and the third, you pick and choose. Like, yo, they not for me. The Most High does the same thing.
Right.
So he has his rules and regulations on the relationship you can have with him. But people are always talking about how this is my relationship with the Most High.
Right.
But it's not on your terms. And that's what people need to understand.
That's why they don't have a relationship with the Most High. They think
Exactly.
they do.
And you
but
got
they
to
don't.
understand how to have a relationship with him.
That's it.
You said? Isaiah 55:8. For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways.
There you go. So the Most High, that's why the plans of the Most High, unless you really understand the Bible, you can't understand the Most High. You can't understand how he works. You can, and I'm talking about the God of the Bible, okay? You can't understand that because the scriptures say the Lord is known through the judgments that he executes. So, okay, if the Most High is judging somebody because they're doing this, that, and the third, but then he's rewarding for somebody for doing this, that, and the third, that gives you an insight onto maybe the Most High is pleased with this activity, but he really doesn't like that.
Saith Yahweh, for as the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts.
Right, so, and the Lord is letting it be known that, look, I'm not just saying that my thoughts are not your thoughts as in they're just different. I'm telling you the difference is that mine is way above yours. So you down here, and I'm up here. You can do the comparison, right? Like the brother mentioned, Cain and Abel. The Lord had respect unto Abel's sacrifice, but not unto Cain's sacrifice. You know, because the Most High is very strict when it comes to specifics. If he goes out of it, not going out of his way, but if he takes the time to tell you explicitly how he wants something done, that means he's not leaving it up to you to decide. That means he wants it done exactly as he said it. And that's why in the book of Samuel it tells you that to obey is better than sacrifice. The Most High wants you to do what he says above whatever you may think he wants. Or like, if he wanted it, he would have told you. That's it.
Yeah, that's why even in the law, all right, the Lord made it where an owner of anything, he can do whatever he wants with whatever he owns.
Right.
Okay, and the Lord actually,
It's property.
this property. And creation, all of creation is the Most High's property. So whatever it is that he wants to do, he'll designate. For example, here's a book of Matthew, quick precept. There's a book of Matthew chapter 20, verse 15. It says, is it not lawful for me to do what I will with my own? Is thine eye evil because I am good? So this goes back to the parable of the penny, right? And the Lord is making a point. He's saying that, yo, don't come at me looking at me crazy because we agreed on a penny. And I'm doing whatever I want with my land, with my vineyard. And I said, yeah, exactly, my money. So I said, this is how it's going to be, and now I'm the owner of the property, and this is what I'm going to pay you. And you agreed to it. So that's the end of it. So let's read that again. It says, is it not lawful for me to do what I will with mine own? So the Most High is making it known that, look, I can do whatever I want with my own shit, and nobody can say anything about it. You see? So it's the same thing on the bigger scale. The whole world is the Most High, and He can do whatever He wants with it. It's lawful that He can do that.
Right.
All right?
That's right. Go and get a precept to back that up.
Revelation 4:11. Thou art worthy, O Lord, to receive glory and honor and power, for thou hast created all things.
Right. So the Most High created all things. That's why one of His titles is the Creator, and another one of His titles is the
Answer of
the answerer of prayers. That's
right.
it. That's it. Now, don't go say I'm gonna do a word search, find where the answer of prayers. That's the title of the Most High because that's what He does.
He is.
How about Hashem Yahshua answers prayers?
He is.
That, if you pray the right way and if you pray for the right thing. Now, as the brother read, so he's getting glory. Now, somebody might say, all right, well, you guys say that the Most High didn't physically create things. It was Yahushua and the angels that did the actual physical creation. So why does it say that the Most High created it? Well, when you build a house, if somebody comes over to a place you own, you say, this is my house, right? Now, you own the house, it's your property, but you're not the masons and the carpenters and all of them, they're the ones who came and physically built it. So one would say, hey, man, no, it's the workers' house, because they built it. But that's not how it works, okay? It was under your orders, your money, your authority, your jurisdiction, okay? So that's the same thing here.
Right. Like, for example, when you drive,
Yes.
when you drive, or maybe let's say you're wearing clothing that's like, Tommy Hilfiger, for example. Does that mean Tommy Hilfiger is actually the factories
Right.
physically making all the shirts and pants you wear? Like, damn, like this nigga created all this shit. No, he has servants, which are known as employees.
They do it on his behalf.
They do it on his behalf. Oh, I work for Tommy Hilfiger. Do you
Right.
work for the man Tommy Hilfiger? No, you work for the company that has his name on it.
Right.
So it's the same thing here. The Most High, he's not literally physically just there delegate. No, he said, this is my shit. This is all my shit. My son is in charge of all of this. And my son is going to delegate who's going to be in charge of that. Who's going to be doing this? Who's going to be doing that? At the end of it all, when somebody comes from a far country and he gets there, damn, what a kingdom. Whose kingdom is this? Oh, it's the kingdom of the Most High.
Yep.
Wow, man, that's amazing. He did all this? Yeah, he did all this. Yeah, he showed us what to do. And wow, that's crazy, man.
Oh,
Wow.
it's like a company that has a founder. Now they say that that's his company.
Right.
But really, it's all the workers that build up all these
Right.
things that make the company.
There you go.
But it's his because it was his idea,
There you go.
and he just went and got the. Let me put it like this, right? When you make food, you have the idea. I want some rice and chicken today. All right, I'm gonna go get the ingredients. I'm gonna go get this. I'm gonna go get that, and then I'm gonna put it all together. Yo, you think you could turn on the stove for me? You could do this. So it's gonna be the food that I made because it was my idea. I just found the resources to get it done. It's the same thing. It's the Most High's plan. It's his idea. It's his blueprint. It's his everything. They built according to his blueprint.
Earth as it is in heaven.
On earth as it is in
So
heaven.
if you want to understand how the Most High works, you look at things that He does on earth.
That's it.
And you be like, oh, okay, I see that that's the nature of the Most High.
That's right.
You see?
That's right. Just finish.
Brothers made me think of another analogy, just like an architect. He puts the blueprint together, and the blueprint is basically the Most High laying all of the earth's foundations for us through here. This is the blueprint right here, and that He gave it to us. So,
The book of life.
come back to
Revelation 4:11. It's all good. It's all good. But that's why it says the Most High is worthy of the praise. Because there's no comprehending His ways. Even His name alone, you go trying to understand why is His name He is. Why you lose it because our minds are not capable of understanding such things. Imagine how much the Most High has to lower His messages and His frequency when He deals with us. When the Lord puts the Spirit on us, that's a very fine-tuned spirit. Because if the Most High was to put His Spirit on us, that's why it says He gave it to us with measure, right? Unto each He gave us with measure. Because if the Most High was to just unload His Spirit on you, your vessel will not be able to hold it. Your spirit can't bear it. Samson had the Spirit of the Lord on him for what? Enough to give him super strength, and he almost died after that. Said, Lord, if I don't get some water, I'm done. Yeah, it was gonna be over for him.
The brother posted a precept. This is a brother in Aquam. This is Ecclesiasticus or the book of Sirach, chapter 18 and 1. He that liveth forever have created all things in general. The Lord is only as righteous and there is none other but He, who governeth the world with the palm of His hand, and all things obey His will. For He is the King of all, by His power divining holy things among them from profane.
And that's it.
But you see, that's what's wrong with America. This land has made people think this is like some crazy, wow, what a. When you go to the East and civilizations before this, everybody knew this. This is basic common knowledge. You know what I'm saying? But it's only America that makes it seem like, wow, there's a being that actually has all the power. How can you say these people got everything messed up, man?
Because going back to the Renaissance era, when they came out, they started coming out with their different philosophies to disprove the Most High, the Darwinism and all of that.
Right.
So from that time on, remember it said that the devil must be loose to deceive the nations.
Right.
So from that time on down,
Oh, nice.
from that time on down, he got people to start losing faith, stop thinking in a more faith-based way and start thinking in a more science-based way, in a more artificial-based way. So now it's kind of like we have to start reversing what they started doing. So when you start bringing out things that are pre-Renaissance era, people look at it like, what? That's possible? Because they've been so conditioned. What?
You know, they can't fathom, they can't understand the spiritual because they've been conditioned to live by the carnality, the solutions of man, not the solutions of the Most High. Okay, they try to have manly solutions for spiritual problems. You can't do that. All right, you cannot do that. You always fail 100% of the time. These people don't understand the times that we're in, and that's why they're getting messed up like this. They're looking for carnal solutions to spiritual problems, man. They're gonna be cooked, bro.
Yep. Ain't no way out of there.
Well, what y'all just made me think about was how the science is really just the explanation piece. And the Most High already made it already. It was already written. He already did all of that. And then science is explaining the scripts. It's not the other way around.
Yeah, I remember when I was in high school. It's like I'm gonna pass it back. I remember when I was in high school, I used to in science class. I used to say, all I think about when I go into science class is, okay, science never created anything. Science tries to explain creation. Right? So that's why you have the word science goes back to what? Ciencia, which means to know. Right? And knowledge is what? It's to have knowledge of what's already there. But then the real power comes when you understand how those things that are already there actually operate. Because everything has a form of operation. And we humans are used to coming from a base and then growing into something else. We're not used to understanding that there's actually an entity out there who was there before all things. There's no such thing here. Where you gonna go? Like, okay, well, this was already there. No, everything comes from something. Right. So that's why a lot of people get bugged out when they think of the Most High. They don't understand that His ways are far beyond our ways. He made us. You see what I'm saying? So the only thing you could do is try to understand the way He set things up around your realm.
Oh,
But that's
the angel told Ezra that man may only understand that which is upon
That's
the
it.
earth.
That's it.
So, but that's why we gotta wait and see.
This is Sirach chapter 43, verse 26. By him the end of them hath prosperous success, and by his word all things consist. We may speak much and yet come short, wherefore in some he is all.
There you go. So as it says, by his word all things consist. Because the scriptures say, who have resisted the will of the Lord? Everybody, everything, every time, everywhere, anything that's going on anytime, anywhere is controlled by the Most High. You cannot do anything that's outside of the will of the Lord. It doesn't happen that way. Because the Most High doesn't allow things to happen. He makes things happen. Nothing happens unless the Most High orders it to happen. So there's not like things are happening and the Most High has to say, no, stop this, no, stop that. No, nothing happens until He says, do this, and do that. That's how you got to understand it. So if somebody is doing, that's why we don't force this upon people. We can't. What? Oh, that's the spirit thing. That's, what you think?
Nah, basically, like certain family members who try to make them see the truth, when you first young coming in the faith, and then see it, and then like back off and they like have a perplexed face because like this is like the brother mentioned, this is not normal. Like I'm used to Christianity always coming. It's like, why aren't you coming? Like you just left me alone. Like am I not supposed to understand it? Like is this not for me? Like well, you didn't want it to be for you, so.
That's it.
And then when you leave them the message, like, all right, well, this is what's gonna happen if you don't do that, and this is what's gonna happen to you.
Right.
Letting you know, I warned you. You didn't want to listen. That's what's gonna happen.
That's it.
And it's like, okay, we'll see. And it's like, so that stuff you was talking about
Right.
before, can I still know? It's like,
Well, you got a testimony on that, cousin.
Oh, man, I have a cousin, man. He's so worldly. He's into like money and shit like that. And I'm like for the past 3-4 years now.
Yeah.
Every time we meet him, we see him, we talk to him on the phone. We always hit him with scriptures because he knew us when we were kids growing up.
And we weren't like that when
We weren't like that, exactly. So when we finally woke up to the truth, it's like, damn, y'all come on vacation. All y'all think about is playing video games and chilling and doing all this shit. All of a sudden, y'all got Bibles now? Like, what is this? Like, so at first he's not gonna take it serious. And then it's like, okay, I'm asking questions. They're giving me answers from the Bible. Okay, what is this? And then over time, it's like, okay, it's not a phase. They're actually really about this. So I told him that there's gonna come a time very soon. They're gonna mandate the MOTB, all right, and then we're gonna have World War III. He didn't believe me. He said, man, bro, that's gonna be way past our time, our generation is down the line. Yo, C-19 came. I told him this is what it means. This is what's gonna happen. This is what's gonna come out of it. He said, nah, bro, there ain't no such thing as an elite group we all trying to make money here, bro. You mean to tell me there's a secret people that you? I'm like, no, bro, you are so far gone. Last week, I called him, and he was like, hey, yo, man, what's going on over there, man? I said, what's going on in your country, man? What's going on, bro? I heard there's a whole chaotic shit going on. I told you this is gonna happen. He said, yeah, bro, but look, it looks like we're going to World War III soon, man. I was like, World War III? What's going on? Give me some updates on that. He said, yo, bro, it looks like the way Russia's not budging, bro. He said, Putin over there, he's not budging, bro. And they talking about missiles and all this shit. And Biden, America, your president, all this nigga is doing is really like causing and pushing Russia to react. And he said, yo, if these niggas keep on pushing Russia and they react, bro, it's World War III. And Africa gonna have to get involved. Basically, World War III, bro. You know what I'm saying? He said a lot of these countries are already making alliances with Russia and China in them, man. He said China pretty much owns most of Africa now. All right? So he's like, yo, the whole scheme is like, look, this is going to lead to World War III in a very few months. That's what he said. And I told him, I said, well, I told you this is gonna happen. I started laughing. And he said, yo, listen, whatever it is that you on, whatever it is that you know, you gotta teach me right now.
He said, teach me so I can believe
Yeah,
it too.
he said, teach me so I can believe too. Because like, yo, you guys said this was gonna happen, and I'm telling you that it's happening. I'm scared, but you are mad comfortable. What's up with that?
Oh, yeah.
He said, so where you gonna go? Tell me where you gonna go so I can go with you. You know? So the reality is here. He said, yo, wherever you gonna go, I'm gonna hold on to your foot and we're gonna go together.
Oh,
And I said, oh, you just actually prophesied. You fulfill prophecy. There's a prophecy in the scripture that says that when the time comes, you're gonna be like, I'm gonna hold on to your skirt, and that is a Jew, and I'm gonna go with you. Whatever it is that you say, I'm gonna do. And we're in those times.
That's
You know what I'm saying?
Zechariah the 8th chapter,
Mhm.
which first it starts with the Israelite foreigners
Right.
coming in,
Right.
but it's also going to be applied metaphorically, meaning that when they see the Most High is with you, they're going to, because it says it, right?
Right.
We know the Most High is with you, so we're going. That's why it says, "Then shall they be known who are my chosen."
Yeah.
So how they going to know the Most High is with you? Because it's going to be known who are His chosen.
Right.
And when they see that, how's the Most High going to let it be known who are His chosen? He's ain't going to be letting it be known necessarily through negativity, but through positivity. Because when you're in a situation where it's looking like a bad outcome for everybody, and yet this guy's always good, this guy's fed. He has food in abundance. This guy's protected. He's not stressed. He's calm. He's not worried. I need to know whatever you're doing. So people are gonna try to start coming closer and closer to you to see how you can help them out. And the scriptures say that. Some is gonna be too late, and some the Lord might have mercy on them. You know? Yeah.
This is Psalm 110:3. Thy people shall be willing in the day of thy power, and the beauties of holiness from the womb of the morning thou hast to do at thy youth.
Now that starts with Yahushua, but also applying onto us because we're going to be joint heirs. But where is that power going to come from? The Yahushua. And power comes in many forms. All right, spiritual power, but also the power to be fed. You know, the power of having the presence of the Most High with you. He's going to protect you. You know, no harm is gonna. The scriptures say that no harm is gonna come near you. Nigh thy dwelling. People are gonna be willing. All right. Right now they're not willing because why should they be? Well, I can choose to say that I care or I don't care, and I just walk down the street and live my life the way I want to. But now when they see that if I walk away, I'm choosing death. That's a different option. because they see that everywhere else is death, it's starvation, pressure. And they have, when people run out of opinions and solutions, that's when they want to hear what you have to say. Once everybody has an opinion, you tell them this, no, I don't believe that, I think it's this. But when everything else, they can't think of anything else, and you tell them one thing, they're going to want to listen. Because everything else they tried has failed. So they're left with nowhere else to run.
And you know what I'm noticing too? That people who actually know us personally, they are getting into the spirit of being willing, man.
Yep.
You know, our moms, our women, and so on. Look, everybody, because they've seen it. They've been hearing it all this, now they're seeing it. It's not like, oh, you guys have been saying it. No, now it's like, all right, we're living it. So now they're starting to be willing. Like, yo, my mom was like, you know, so all I gotta do is just listen to what you guys have to say. And we say, yeah. She said, okay, that's it. I'm like, damn, like all these years, she's finally on that type of time. You know the kind of battles we've had with this woman in this house? World War IV, man. And for her to say that, and you know, we used to say like, oh, eventually she's gonna come around. You know, but now it's like, hey, call all y'all about Shimmy out shot.
Cause she been telling her friend,
right? Yeah.
Basically what she does is, we gonna tell her, she gonna act like she's not listening, but she's really listening.
Right.
So you know, we'll tell her, she'll be like, yeah. Then one time I caught her on the phone talking to her friend, telling her friend the exact same things we telling her. Talking about, yeah, they gonna bring that MOTP thing, you know, this whole system is set up in the way. So I step back, I'm listening. I'm like, oh yeah? Yeah, when I tell you this, oh yeah, whatever. And then you turn around and tell them that. And her friend is basically like, she been telling her, she said her friend from hearing all those things and seeing them happening, her friend tells her that her sons are prophets. She said, you got prophets in your house, you are blessed. You gotta let me talk to them too, because I got questions. And I'm stressed out. So she's always telling, her friend is like, you know, seeing all these things happening, and she's like, damn man, you got these people living in your house, they can explain to you whatever it is, you know, via the scriptures. Now she told me yesterday that she was telling her friend about some more of these things because now her friend is asking questions. Whenever something happens, so what was it that your sons were saying? And so her friend was like, well, she said that, what was it that your son had a vision about and all that? And she stopped her right there. No. I didn't say my son had a vision. I said it's all written in the scriptures and he just explains it from there. And I said, thank you. Because that's where Jake goes off. They try to give you credit as if you are something, you know? We're not coming out here telling you that this is what we are. We just magically just received it and then boom, you come to us. No, you come to the scriptures. So we're not going to take credit for what the Most High's credit. No, we're not taking the Most High's credit. Are you crazy?
I was going to say, adding on to your point, Israel is inclined to idolatry. Because even when Apostle Paul was going around, I believe they were calling him Mercurius or something like that. They wanted to make him into a god, like him into the Most High, just off the strength of the spirit and the things he was saying. But he was saying, no, don't praise me. I'm just a man. Praise you. How about Shemi Al-Shai?
That's right. That's the spirit you got to be in, because Jake wants to associate things with something they can see, tangible. So they can't see the Most High, that's the next best thing. Oh, I can see you. Oh, you got to be the one. No. That's why they built the calf. They need something physical that they can see. But if you are a true man of the Lord, you know clearly. Look, my man. Listen, don't even do this because you're putting me in danger. Right? If I allow you to do this, you're putting. It says Paul and Barnabas rent their clothes. They ran there and they stopped them because they knew the consequence. Right. Because they understood how the Most High works. This is why when it comes to like birthdays and those kinds of parties, when you look at the person whose birthday it is, everybody's surrounding them, like idolizing them, praising them. That's the problem with birthday. It's my birthday. That's the problem with birthdays. Not that birthdays are an issue, it's what people do. And the mindset that these people expect as if they're like, oh, it's my birthday, I'm the king now. Everybody got to think about me. The Most High doesn't like that. Because then you become proud. And the scriptures say, who are you? What is man that he should be proud? Pride was not made for man.
I was going to say, wasn't there an example? It's the Herod Agrippa. It was on his birthday, and then everybody was like, oh, it's a god, and then the Most High killed him.
He came out to speak, and they said, it's the voice of a god. And then the angel smote him right then and there. And then he was done. And I believe he was Agrippa the second or the first. Might have been the first. But that goes to show you, because you have Vocab Malone saying Herod was the last Edomite. Well, Agrippa came from his line. Herod Archelaus, Herod Philip the Tetrarch, you know, they all came from his line. What are you talking about? The Herod that John the Baptist rebuked was the son of Herod. So what are you talking about? Alexander Jannaeus, and Aristobulus, they were also sons of Herod. By Miriam, which was an Israelite, Levite. So, what, you know. But anyway, yeah, they don't understand. That's all right. He can't get it anyway. He's the deaf adder that stopped him here. Where were we? You finished on that?
I said
All right, hold that real quick. Finish off here in Revelation. Yeah, and then get that in that.
Yeah, I see.
Revelation 4:11. Thou art worthy, O Lord, to receive glory and honor and power, for thou hast created all things.
Right.
And for thy pleasure they are and were created.
That's the key part right there. That's the part that we need to understand. All things were created for the pleasure of the Most High. That's why they were created. When you make something, you think about it. Why do people make cars? Because they got tired of walking, right? You think about, yo, what if we had a vehicle like the airplane, for example? What if we had a mechanism to be able to get from point A to point B without going by ship all the time? So you make something for your pleasure. Oh man, this is a good idea. This just saved us all this time. This just helped us. Everything that is made for the pleasure of the Lord. So when you are not pleasing the Lord, He has every right to destroy you, because you're not functioning the way you should. When you have a car that's broken down and it cannot be fixed, what happens to that car? Does the car get to turn around and say, hey, you can't destroy me, you can't salvage me, you can't take me apart? What's wrong with you? I got feelings too. I got a whole engine in me. The car don't get to say that.
That made me think, like, when you go to see a show, the conductor is there, but all of the people have different instruments, different talents, but it's only maximized when the conductor is there, because he's controlling everything. And he's making everybody, he's giving them the quote unquote power, or through the Spirit, he's channeling the prophets, these men, to put it out.
He's guiding them.
Got it, exactly.
Yep, that's right. Just like the brain. All the different body parts, but the brain puts it all together. Yeah, that was it on that. Shalom, you can bring on Isaiah 33:6, and then you go from there and then go back in. Okay. That's all right. That's all right. Bring it up. Precepts all day. That's how we speak. We speak on precepts. You know, because the precepts have been given us to speak on. Right? You speak according to the words of the Lord. Line upon line, here a little, there a little. So if you don't understand what we say, or you have a problem with it, it's easy, because all we can do is just point you to this. That's why in Romans 3:3 it says, "For what if some did not believe? Shall their faith make the word shall their unbelief make the faith of the Most High without effect? God forbid. Yea, let God be true, but every man a liar, so that thou mayest be justified in thy sayings." Right. So if I say something, I'm going to be justified because I can say it. Okay, well, you said I said this, right? Well, I got it from right here. So whatever happens, I'm going according to what's written in here. You can't penalize me for that. You got a problem. You got to take it up with the Most High. The only problem you can have with me is that I believe in the book. But yeah, you bring out your precept.
This is Job 9:12. Behold, he taketh away, who can hinder him? Who will say unto him, what doest thou?
I'm gonna be honest.
So basically,
I
you
have
can't
something
stop the
wrong
Most High
with
when He
you.
wants to do something. You can't sit and say, hey, what are you doing? Like, you can't do that.
Right.
Like, if you're going to be destroyed, like, you can't stop the Most High from doing that.
Right.
If you're not doing something according to His pleasure, you can't, hold back the hand of the Father.
Right. Yep. The scriptures say, who have known the mind of the Most High, or who hath been his counselor? Who's going to give the Most High counsel? You know, even when he has the counsel in the heavens with the angels, he's already made up his mind. He just wants to hear, all right, what else you got? So if the Most High changes his mind, then the first thing was never really his final decision in the first place. So the Most High doesn't have second thoughts. He only has one thought. He just plays it out that way.
That's why it says he's the Most High, he changes not.
He changes not.
You know?
Yep. So I mean, for us it's different, right? For us, you may have one thing, then your mindset might change, but it stays the same for the Most High. What he said was, well, originally you're gonna do this, but I just want you to think you're gonna do this. Remember we were talking about seal up the instructions of men in their minds, and he might change your mind from doing that. And the Most High might do that. Look, I give you an example. The Most High says, you know what? I want to boost this individual's faith. And look at how simple I can do it. This guy wants to go out tomorrow. I'm not going to let him go out. Now, I could just put it into his mind to say, I don't want to go out tomorrow. But no. I want to first put it into his mind to say, you know what? Tomorrow I want to go out over this area to this party. And then tomorrow when he wakes up, I'm going to have something happen where his mind changes. And then later on in the news, I'm going to have him watching and see that the place he wanted to go to originally, there was a bomb over there. And had he gone, he would have been destroyed. So now he's going to turn around and say, wow, yeah, thank you, Lord. Because if I had gone with the first plan that I had to go out to that party area, I would have been destroyed. But for some reason, I just said, you know what, I want to stay home today. And just like that. So the scriptures talk about the duality of the Most High.
And sometimes too, you know, you might go through something and you might think of it as, damn, I had a plan, this is what I wanted to do, and it might not go as planned. You know, you shouldn't be devastated by that. Sometimes the Lord will add something by taking something away from you. Addition by subtraction. I'll give an example. You get a new job, you know, you've been looking for a job, whatever, and then you finally get the call. Hey, you know, we're paying you $40 an hour. Here, this is what you're gonna do, whatever. You go over there. Everything is normal, you go for the interview, everything goes well, and then the next week they call you and be like, hey, you know, you weren't able to get the job because we got somebody over you. And you're like, damn, bro, I thought I had it, like I was good, I'm already ready to go and all that. And then now you start thinking, damn, Lord, what happened, Lord? And then that same week, news comes out, oh, by the way, everybody who got hired that same week, everybody got a quarantine, they all got the C-19, and then now they about to go line up and take that MOTB. Because now our job, we're mandating it because a lot of people are getting sick or whatever. And now you're like, damn, Lord, the water, like if I would have been hired, I would have been subject to this shit. But now you give me another solution where I'm not even looking at this job as a thing anymore. Now I'm looking for something else. And while I was looking for something else, you gave me an opportunity where I met somebody on my way home and they said, hey, Mike, talking to you, this and that. Oh, yeah, I'm actually looking for a job right now. Oh, yeah, okay, cool. I know this guy who's actually looking for people to hire. Oh, yeah, how is it? Oh, yeah, it's actually this and that. You do this and that, and we'll pay you $50 an hour. Oh, shit, what? And you go home like, Lord, the water, like I was looking for this, and I didn't even get it, thinking that that's what I was going to get, and it was all problematic. And then you solved the solution, you solved the problem by giving me this better situation here. So sometimes when you get the no to something that you thought was a yes, it's not always a bad thing. You just gotta, like we always say, there's always an answer to whatever problem there is. Like there's an explanation to whatever answer or whatever problem you might go through. You just gotta wait for it. You see?
This is Proverbs 27:1. Boast not thyself of tomorrow, for thou knowest not what a day may bring forth.
Boom. Just like how Yahushua said that don't worry about the things for tomorrow. The things for tomorrow the problems for tomorrow are sufficient for tomorrow. You see, like the Apostle James said that when you pray or when you say something like, oh, we're gonna do this tomorrow or whatever, you have to say, Lord willing. You see, if it be the Most High's will, then this or that, or we will do this or we'll do that. We will live or whatever. You see? So like the elder just said, if you could bring that back again.
Proverbs 27:1. Boast not thyself of tomorrow, for thou knowest not what a day may bring forth.
There you go. The day may bring forth so many different things that might ruin your plans. So every day you wake up, Father, Lord, you pray, you say, Lord, take me safely to my destinations and bring me back home safely.
Oh, well, you know about that.
Yeah. We've been through that.
With that testimony.
Yeah.
I'm going to give it a testimony. Because I remember when we first got into the truth, we was at Camp Elizabeth, and we were young in the truth, right? So it was after camp, and we were talking with the elder Tazwan, and we was like, all right, so we'll see you next week. And then he said, Lord willing. And then the brother said, no, we're going to be here next week. He said, Lord willing. He said, I know for a fact you're going to be here next week. He said, oh yeah? Cool. Next week came, was it like a thunderstorm?
No, he said, now that you said that, something's going to happen that's going to show you that you never talk like that.
Right, you got to say Lord willing.
Yeah, you got to say Lord willing.
Yeah.
And then he said, and when it happens, you're going to do a lesson on that.
Yep.
So then the next week came, and Saturday comes, we're supposed to go to camp, and it starts raining, downpour, thunderstorm. Yeah. So camp got canceled that week. And then he texted the chat. He said, "So, Haran, I'm waiting for that video."
That's it.
And I was just sitting there like, "Yo, what the fuck?"
That's when I got right away. After that, his favorite precept became "Man's goings off the Lord." That's why he always here to bring it out.
Yeah, man. So you learn right away. Like, damn, Lord, the water for showing me that, because I'm here thinking, you know, you come from the world, you just thinking everything is just how you think it is.
Plus, you think it's the work of the Lord too. So yeah, we're definitely gonna be.
Yeah. You know, but the Lord's like, nah, bro, it's Lord. Well, you even say, oh, tomorrow. You just say next week. Like, you don't even know what's gonna
He
happen.
said
next
both
week.
times tomorrow. He said,
Yeah,
I'm on the way
next
next week.
Like, yo. You know?
Yeah, that's and the worldly people, they don't understand that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because they so focused on, they don't give no glory to Yahweh Shem Yahushua.
Right.
They so focused on doing things how they want to do, you know. And Lord's willing is also when things don't go your way. Because people say Lord willing, you be like, yeah, I'm you know, my stimulus check come tomorrow, Lord willing, but deep in your mind, you like, man, this shit better be here tomorrow because I got shit to do. Like, I got bills to pay or whatever, subject to payments. But so you say, Lord willing, to stay humble, but deep down inside, you still want your own will to be done. But however, when your own will don't be done, because I find, you know, we in this flesh, so I find myself at times like, you know, you say Lord willing because it's just the right thing to say and it's the right way to move in the spirit. But being in the flesh, sometimes you still want your own will to happen. And then when it don't, you be like, well, I guess the Lord was, you got to say, I guess the Lord wasn't willing and accept it, but you have more of a sad countenance because in this flesh, you still kind of wanted what you thought was sufficient for you at the time.
Right.
You know, you tell somebody in the world like, let me hold $500. He'd be like, all right, I give it to you. He'd be like, yo, when you gonna pay me back? He'd be like, Wednesday, Lord willing. But he fuck around and don't give it to you. He'd be like, you know, like worldly people, their mind like, what you mean Wednesday, Lord willing? Like, you better have my motherfucking money Wednesday. You know what you mean, Lord willing? Like, yo, no, give me my fucking money Wednesday, or I ain't gonna give you shit. Like, so, like, you can't really talk like that to worldly people, or you find yourself on the shitty end of the stick with them.
Hey, that's heavy because, and that's going to show you how the truth works, because we came to a realization where even when you don't get what you want, like the elder just said, right? Your will is not done, but the Heavenly Father's will is done. Like Yahushua said, he said, not my will, but your will be done. When you go through that and you're more on the negative side of things, the best way to think about it is, oh, okay, Khan, this is what I thought would happen, but Lord, you got a better plan for me. So maybe I didn't get what I wanted this time, but I'm gonna wait, I'm gonna fall back. That means that whatever you got for me next to solve this problem that I have is gonna be perfect for me. My solution to this problem that I thought I had, I was praying for you to go along with it. You said, nah, I'm not with this plan. I got something better for you. You just gotta wait a little bit. And remember we were talking about this last week about the process. You have to be able to be patient when you're going through a process of something happening. Because for example, when you using a computer, right? And you're downloading something or there's an update happening, what do they tell you? They say, don't turn off the system. Loading, don't turn off the system. The loading process sometimes is tedious. You just sit back, it's tarrying. You know, you just sit back waiting. Sometimes it might take 2 hours to update. Sometimes it might take a few minutes, but you just gotta wait because something is working, the process is taking place. So you don't get what you want if you turn off the computer, you're gonna have to restart all over again. So the best thing is, I'm gonna just sit back and wait for the process to finish, and then at the end, you're gonna get what you're looking for. You see? So it's the same thing when you come into this truth. You have to be ready to be patient. That's the biggest thing.
Sirach, the second chapter.
Right. You know, you have to prepare to, you gotta be patient, bro. Like, things ain't gonna happen, boom, just like that. You're gonna go through shit. You're gonna go through mad shit. You're gonna sacrifice. You could go through months of being broke. We've been through there. You know, it's called a balance. You go through months, sometimes a whole year. You got to be spiritual and say, Lord, there's a balance. I'm in this shithole for a whole year, but that's okay because last year I was chilling. So this year I knew at some point he's going to balance things out. Apostle Paul said what? To be know how to be abased and abound. You see?
And knowing that, you would think people would like embrace for it somewhat. You know what I'm saying? Because especially being Jake in America, we not in our kingdom. We going to constantly have ups and downs. Like you got high tide and you got low tide. Right after the spring comes the winter. What you do in the winter? You bundle up like the squirrels do it. Like if you doing good for some season, you save some, put some of that shit aside because you know what, a dry season is coming.
Right.
But what Jake like, nah, I'm gonna be on top forever or this and that. Then that dry season hit, and now what? You you caught out there, you heard it, you know what I'm saying? But so you got high tide, tide come in, tide go out, you know what I'm saying? The sun rises, the sun set. After winter comes spring, after spring comes fall. It's a constant, and these seasons is also like that in our lives. Like Yahweh Shah said with the storm while he was on the boat, he calmed the storm, but we also had what? Storms in our lives. We got times in our life where it's peaceful, then at times when it's the quiet before the storm, then shit get hectic. Then what? It calm back down, and it's an ongoing constant cycle to where you know how to bundle. You got to bundle up for like, yo, winter's coming. You know what I'm saying? So when the winter, you got to bundle up, you got to endure the winter. Then right after winter is what? Spring. Springtime is like kind of like opportunity. Like it becomes a season in your life where you take advantage of opportunities to come and you plant seeds and you reap in the harvest. Then the summer come, you plenteous. But you still got to protect kind of like from the raccoons and the fucking pests from getting your crops that you had planted. Then your crops fade out, then winter come back around again. So this is all constant, just being Jake living in Babylon in this setup, because we're not in our kingdom where we constantly blessed. You always gonna have seasons when you up and seasons when you down. Seasons when you all right, and you could sometimes see shit going bad. Like, yo, this shit about to run out. And like, the Lord still gonna carry you over, but you're not gonna be as plenteous as you previously was. And you're gonna go through winter, but after winter, springtime come, and it just constantly repeats itself.
Hey, like you said, you either coming out of a situation, going into a situation, or
oh
in
yeah, kind of Scarface song. He says 3 stages of life. Either you in the storm, you coming. He said either you just got out of a storm, you going into the storm, or you in the storm. You know what I mean? So, and that's how it is for Jake. Either you coming out of a hectic situation, coming into your peace, maybe about to get a blessing here or two, then that shit gonna fade away, you gonna catch hell again. So you gotta constantly like, and this happening, if you really look at your life, this happened all the way since you've been on earth in different stages. Yep. So now when it coming, you got understanding, you shouldn't be bitched out or weeping and mourning. You gotta deal with it. You know, especially us being men. So we gotta learn to like deal with problems, because in the world of men, complaining is called bitching. You know what I mean? When you hear a dude complaining, you know, like, listen, accept the things you can't change. You know what I mean? If you can't, it's a wise saying, accept the things you can't change. If you don't like something, change it. And if you can't change it, change the way you look at it, right? Because if you don't like, you know, the Lord give us little decisions, he ain't tripping. You don't like the shoes you got on, change them. Right. You know what I'm saying? If you don't like where you living at, change it. Now, when you go to do something and it's a blockage there, now you get spiritual, like, hold up. You know what I'm saying? Maybe the Lord, you try to do it again, it won't go through. Right. Then you keep trying to push it, judgment might happen to you. Right. You're like, oh shit, let me back up before I get fucked up by the Lord. You know what I'm saying? So, but the Lord, we Israel, we are the prince of the power. The Lord give us times to manipulate the environment around us to our liking. And if he don't want you to do it, trust me, he has some shit go down that'll push you the opposite direction. You know what I mean? And blow you the opposite way. But a lot of shit, you know, Jake be bitching about, like, yo, you fucking chubby or whatever, stop eating all them fucking cookies. Like, exercise, work out. Now, some spirits you do be in heavy, you got to pray for the Lord for strength. Now, I mean, to give you the strength to, you know, take that spirit off of you. But, you know, the Lord said, I'll give you power over serpents, devils, and scorpions. We Israel, Yasharel, he is the prince of the power. But some shit you don't have no control of, and you just got to deal with it. Don't complain. Yeah. That's why Jake be like, man, stop bitching. Because really, women do that. You just man up, and you deal with it until the season pass by, and then the fucking harvest come. You know?
Yeah, precept.
Psalms 107 and 25, for he commandeth and raiseth the stormy wind, which lifteth up the waves thereof.
They mount up to the heaven, they go down again to the depths. Their soul is melted because of trouble. They rail to and fro and stagger like a drunken man and are at their wits' end. Then they cry unto Yahweh in their trouble, and he bringeth them out of their distresses. He maketh the storm a calm, so that the waves thereof are still. Then are they glad because they be quiet, so he bringeth them unto their desired haven.
Yeah, then it repeats it. That's a beautiful precept. Then what? The cycle repeats itself until we go in the kingdom. You know?
So now hop into this. But with John, start with John here. Because at the end of the day, it all ties into the Most High's will, which leads us to the chosen vessels.
There's a book of John, chapter 15, and verse, start off at 10. It says, if ye keep my commandments, ye shall abide in my love, even as I have kept my Father's commandments.
Why? Because you like those that do what you want them to do, right? If somebody's constantly coming against you, and I mean somebody that you have authority over, right? Yeah, if somebody's under you, if you're in a higher position over them, if they're your child or your woman or that kind of situation, the more they listen to what you have to say and they're obedient and they follow your lead, the more you love them, right? So that's why the Lord said, if you follow his commandments, you will abide in his love. Because the commandments are a way to please the Most High. They're literally like how to please the Most High 101. Don't do this, do this. That's it. So when you follow it to the best of your ability, the Most High is going to, you know what? Even if you fall short, you fell short while trying to please me. So I might cut you some slack here. Some people don't even care. What's that, 2 Ezra 9? When he had yet liberty, they despised it. Right, that is crazy.
It says,
Sirach chapter 19, verse 18. The fear of the Lord is the first step to be accepted of him.
The fear of the Lord is the first step to be accepted of him. And I mentioned this yesterday, which is that for people that don't fear the Most High, they don't fear Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, they fear everything else. You have to understand that everything that you fear comes from the Most High. If you fear cars, you fear dogs, you fear Satan, you fear demons, they all come from the Most High. That's why you have to fear the Most High. Those are all branches of the Most High's power. Okay? So you might say, no, I fear the devil, I don't fear the Most High. The devil fears the Most High. So who are you really supposed to be fearing? Because he controls it all. If the car's gonna hit you, the Most High is in control of that. That's why you fear him. And when you fear him, you're gonna make sure you don't get on the bad side, because you know what he's capable of.
Hey, it's like when you in a situation and you start, sometimes you go somewhere or you're doing something and then you just feel mad or uneasy. You be like, yo, what if something happens? But then you think about it like, yo, hold on. Why would something happen if I haven't done anything to offend the Lord? Right. As a matter of fact, I expect that he's going to protect me. So you throw up a prayer up and down, Baruch, as I'm going over here, this and that. I pray that you hold me through, guide me, protect me, take me there safely, bring me back home safely. Send your holy angels to come and guide and protect me. And that's it. And then give me the confidence so I can witness your power. And then you just go through it, and then you start thinking about, like, oh, what is so fearful about what I just thought about? Right. Like, what is there to fear? And then the confidence just boosts right there, and then you just keep doing what you got to do. You probably go for an interview, and then you start like, damn, what are they going to ask? What if they ask me how? You pray to the Lord, and then you start getting calm. Because now you in there, and now you the one giving the interview. You asking questions. You asking questions and giving the captain. Yeah. So sometimes you just got to think about, like, yo, if the Most High is with me, why the hell am I afraid of this? Why am I questioning if I can or cannot do this? Have I done anything to offend the Lord? If that's the case, then I'll be afraid that, this is not going to work because I haven't done something I'm supposed to do. You see, sometimes you might be trying to do something and then you feel it in your spirit. You mentioned it yesterday. You have to know the relationship you have with the Most High. If something ain't going how you're normally used to, you got, all right, sign this off here. You got to know right away. Sign this off.
Driving your car, you hear an unusual sound. Yeah. If I keep driving, something could happen because I got to check how wise it.
Right. So it's the same
fear of this world, right? Fear of this world forces you to go into other things. And that's really what controls people's lives on this side. That's what Esau ruled through deception, but a lot of his deception is fear. You know what I'm saying? Like, and people like, oh, I fear of not being successful. Like, we know, like, college put people in debt. People go the wrong careers that's not lucrative, and you know, African American studies, especially women and shit. They put themselves in high debt, taking up shit that don't even matter, right? But it's all really through what? Through fear. Because it's like, yo, I fear of not being successful. I fear of not being able to take care of myself. I fear of being a bum. So I'm not go into this and do this. And you know, that pushes you to do things you wouldn't probably normally do or even think of in a sense like that, because what you fear. So dealing with, can you give me Timothy right quick, where the Lord said he have not given us the spirit of fear? Because anytime you're scared, you make like rash decisions, like even driving a car. Like I'll dodge a lot of my most dead, craziest accidents because I didn't get fearful when the car spun out of control. And that's the one.
1 second. Let me finish it.
Yeah, and that's the one thing. So fear is it's an acronym. False evidence appearing real when you deal with this society, because a lot of things what it seems to be, it don't really that. That's what Esau control the masses with, is with fear.
2 Timothy 1:7.
Right.
For the Most High hath not given us the spirit of fear.
Right, but he
of
gave
power.
us faith, because faith kills fear and fear kills faith. You know, that's why when you check the Lord out, he said, why are you fearful, ye of little faith? Because the more faith you have, the less fear you will have of things in this world. And the more fear you have of things in this world, the less faith in the Lord you will have. They are arch enemies. So they said it was a wolf of fear. And it's like a wolf of fear in you, and it's a wolf of faith in you. And the one that's going to win is the one you choose to feed. If you choose to feed the wolf of faith, he's going to defeat the wolf of fear. And if you choose to feed the wolf of fear, he will defeat the wolf of faith. So you got to feed your faith side more, and the less scared you will be. You won't have to worry about nothing. And the Lord doesn't give us the spirit of fear, you know, as far as being nervous. It's really fear goes back to where he's dealing with is respect. Because he said, what? Be not fearful, for not one of the hairs on your head shall be touched. So ultimately, fear dealing with what? Is like respect. You know, like bullies are feared. It's not mean nobody would not naturally fight them back. However, they are what? Respected. So people know, don't joke with him like that. Don't play with him like that. So he is feared, meaning what? Respected. But you got a question?
Very nice, you said. When you have faith, you have no fear. That's even in treason. Can I ask you, who are you guys? Because I see the David Star and I see the 12
Yeah, the 12 tribes of
I'm
Israel.
Israeli, by the way.
This is the tribe.
Yeah. Well, you guys are familiar with that, the
Yeah.
12 tribes of Israel. Yeah. So you asked us who we are. Well, we are a part of the 12 tribes of Israel. We're the Israelites. Now you see these names on here. You'll see like Negroes, West Indians, so on and so forth. These are the more the modern terms that these tribes are known as today. Because when you go into the Bible, you'll find out that you're not going to see these words in the Bible.
No.
You will see Judah, Benjamin, Levi, and all of them.
Yeah.
Now, when you actually follow the Bible, the descendants.
So you praying by
Is
the
that
Bible?
What happened?
You do the Bible?
Yes. That's what we're reading on it. Yep.
Let me see.
You see it? With
Oh.
your eyes.
Oh, really?
So,
I touch it every day.
no, it's just precaution. That's all. Yeah. No, nothing. So you'll see the descendants of these tribes today are known as these people. Now, Judah.
Very interesting.
So,
Let me take a picture.
where comes the Middle Eastern,
The Middle Eastern. Elaborate a bit
What's
on
the
your
Middle
question.
Eastern?
like specific?
Yeah. What do you mean specifically? What's your question?
Is Israel, which tribe are Israel?
They
Oh,
say
Israel is a nation.
Yeah, it's a nation that has 12 tribes in it.
there
Okay.
is
No, but it says Dominica and it's
From the
Shimon.
tribe of Simeon.
Yeah.
Yes. So you had Israel, right?
Yeah.
You know about Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob?
Of course.
Cool. So Jacob later got his name changed to Israel.
Yeah.
And he had 12 sons.
Yeah.
Right? These are the descendants of Jacob.
Yeah.
That's why they're called children of Israel.
Okay.
Right? He had 12 of them.
So Israel is the crown.
Israel is the man.
Okay.
Yes. Who the
Oh,
nation came
so
from.
Israel is the parents of the
Yes,
tribe.
yes, yes,
Well, let me
exactly.
take a picture.
He is the parents of the 12 tribes. So when you think of the nation of Israel, there are 12 tribes that make up that nation of Israel. They all come from Israel.
Okay.
That's
they
why
Jacob's
make
name
actually-
was changed to
They make
Israel.
actually the world
Can I quick
exist,
precept?
Yes.
if you think
This
about it.
Genesis 35 and 10. And God said unto him, thy name is Jacob. Thy name shall not be called any more Jacob, but Israel shall be thy name. And he called his name Israel.
There you go. So the man Jacob got his name. The Most High changed his name to Israel.
So what do you consider yourself?
We are descendants of the children of Israel.
Oh, you are.
Yes. Oh, let's
The
get into
true-
Deuteronomy.
the true
Yeah.
Because I
descendants.
know a lot of black people that who's Jewish. We have in the synagogue a lot of black people.
Right,
But
because,
here- yes, like, go ahead.
because Judaism was it's a religion that was ultimately learned. This is a nationality. You don't learn a nationality. You are what you are. See, now if I ask you a question, where are the 12 tribes of Israel
Today.
today?
Okay, hold on.
Who are
Scattered,
they?
right?
Who are they? Okay. They are, well, Israel, you have Jordan, Egypt, Iraq, Iran.
No.
Yes.
No, it said
Yes.
no. It said Judah is those like
Right.
Niger.
Negro.
It's a people,
Negro,
not it's a people, not a
Benjamin,
place.
West
Yeah,
Indian.
but if you take those
There's a
people like
Levite,
Benjamin can be everywhere.
Shimon, they
Right,
say
but who's
Dominican,
Benjamin today? Would be the
We
question.
have to speak the same language.
Zebulun, the Guatemala.
But she gets it though.
She understands.
So what is your belief?
We believe in the
You
Bible,
are-
right?
You,
Now-
you believe in
But
the
you're not
Bible and you are
Jewish.
following.
We
You're
are
not
following the
Jewish?
ways of the Bible. I'm gonna explain it all. I'm gonna
You
explain
are
it just one at a
following the
time.
Jewish law.
We're following the scriptures,
The-
which the Jewish people took a part of. Now, when we say
You
modern
practice
day,
the Shabbat.
yes,
Yes, all of that.
Now check it. When you go into the first 5 books of the Bible, which is known as the Torah, right? The so-called Jewish people, right? So-called Jewish people today practice Judaism. We don't practice Judaism. We go back to our heritage. Okay? There's a heritage. Now, if I ask you, when you say,
What it means? It means you don't keep Shabbos.
no, what do you mean keep Sabbaths?
I mean, you go by the inheritance.
The heritage meaning we go based off what is written in the book. Judaism is also
Well, it's
based
the
on what's
Bible.
written in the book, right?
So now, you consider yourself Jewish, right? Do you understand the history behind the Jewish people? Where does it come from?
It comes from
The modern day
even
Jewish person,
Adam.
yeah, where does it come
Even
from?
Adam.
Okay, so Adam and Eve, right?
Yeah,
And then you go on down.
yeah.
Now, when you follow Adam and Eve, Adam had Cain and Abel,
And then Noah.
and then Noah, right?
Yeah.
Now, Adam had Cain and Abel.
Yeah.
Cain killed Abel. Cain had his own line, and then Adam had another son called Seth.
Yes.
And then through Seth,
and Abel and Cain.
yes.
Yeah.
And through Seth, you had the chosen line, right? So there are other people that came from Adam, but the chosen line was through Seth. When you read in the book of Genesis, those are the individuals you hear. You hear about Methuselah, Lamech, and then Arphaxad, yep. You hear about Noah, and then Noah had 3 sons, Ham, Shem, and Japheth. That's where we're going to start off at, right? So now we know,
Because in Noah, the nation is down. Because
yes, because
before
everybody
that
else
was
died.
The flood.
Yes. So Noah had 3 sons,
Yeah,
Ham, Shem, and Japheth.
yeah,
And that's where everybody else comes from today.
yeah.
From
so
his...
I learned
Mhm.
that Ham
Mhm.
is Africa.
Yes, it's true.
Shem is like the European.
No,
No.
And Yefet
the Europeans
is
are the Japheth,
Yeah.
Yefet
when-
is the European.
right?
And Shem.
And Shem,
Shem are
multiple
the
nations.
Eastern, yeah, the middle, like the eastern area. Because remember, when the flood stopped, the ark landed around Armenia, Mount Ararat.
Armenia?
Yes.
The
Yes,
state?
that's where Mount Ararat is,
Okay.
right? So from there, the descendants started to come out, and then they started to migrate. When you read in the book of Genesis 10 and 11, you see that they all first try to build the Tower of Babel. Then the Lord confused the languages, and they split up.
Yeah.
The descendants of Japheth went more west, right? So that's where you have Turkey, Greece, Spain. They went more that way.
Germany.
Yes.
Right? Yeah.
The descendants of Shem went more downward, eastward, Mesopotamia. They went to India, Persia, Iraq, that area. And then descendants of Ham went more towards the land of Canaan and down to Africa. So this is how they were split. Now, amongst these different, the Ham, Shem, and Japheth, from the line of Shem is where you have Israel. Because through Shem, you go all the way down, you hit Terah, father of Abraham. And then you hit Abraham. Because we study the scriptures.
From where it's so much knowledge.
Yeah, right here. Yep.
Unbelievable.
See, the reason why you're saying that is because you understand what we're saying is the truth. Right? There's one truth which is objective, right? It's the
You
truth,
know,
but
you know the Khazar king.
Khazars, yeah, exactly. That's
The Khazar king
Uh-huh.
is looking for the truth.
King
He
Bullock.
was looking for the truth. So he went to the Muslim and he went to the
In the
Christian.
7th century.
And then he found out the truth is found from Moses.
right.
So then they converted to
And then
that.
he converted to
Boom.
There you go.
So-
So that's the history of the Jewish people today.
Right.
They
Yeah,
converted to it.
But
Okay,
they are not
sorry about
Moses'
that.
people.
Sorry.
They converted to believe what Moses was
But did you
teaching,
take
but
it?
that wasn't given to them.
You took over.
Remember,
Yeah.
Moses' law was given.
don't say
Sorry
that.
about
Check it, check it. Moses' law was given to the 12 tribes of Israel. When we first left Egypt, through the wilderness for 40 years, into the
But-
land of Canaan.
And you are telling the thing that the people of Israel took, like they saved the Torah from the desert, in the desert when you were
So
when,
we got to explain the
like
lineage
the
first.
40 years.
The 40 years of us in the wilderness, right,
Yeah.
was these people here. These people here that you see,
All
from
of them,
Judah
yeah.
all the way to Issachar, the 12 tribes, right? Those people today, if I ask you, who are these people today? The answer is right here. The people you see on this sign here, brothers that you see here, the so-called Negro, the so-called Latino, the so-called Native
actually,
American,
those are
The
who
true
are
descendants
who
of
Moses
the,
took from.
received
Yes,
the
yes,
Torah from
yes,
Moses.
yes. And
Those
now
people.
we have to go through the lineage for you to see that. In history, you'll find out that that's the case. Now, we
But
went.
you know, those people actually ignore and refuse.
Yes, they do. Do you know why?
Because they hate.
Remember
They
the
have
book
to
of Deuteronomy.
follow- they
The
have
book
to
of
follow-
Deuteronomy.
I'm sorry.
The book of Deuteronomy.
Because
Because-
The 5th book of the Torah.
they are not, they cannot admit that.
And
Because
that's
the-
why they hate.
Because the Most
That's why
High,
they hate Jews.
the Most High cursed them.
Moses,
Deuteronomy.
Moses
The Most
cursed
High cursed the children. These people right here,
Who cursed them?
the
Most
Most High,
God.
God.
Yahweh.
God.
He told them, these are my laws. When he made the deal with them, he said, if you
No,
follow
it's
them,
become-
this is
it's
what's going to
become-
happen.
it's become,
If
God's
you break them,
favorite.
this is what's going to
I saw
happen.
you somewhere.
These people broke
I was
the
looking
laws.
at you. I don't know
Because
where.
they broke it, the Most High, the Most High brought it to where now we don't even know that we are these people. If you go to the average Negro, West Indian, these people, they will tell you, no, I'm not Judah, Benjamin, Levi, because they don't know, because it's a part of the curse. The Most High said, I will take that
and
away
your
from you.
belief is to spread the news.
Is to let them know that no, you guys
Did
are
you hear
these
the news
people.
about Dr. Oz?
See?
You know Dr. Oz, right?
Okay,
He,
yeah. Quick
all
precept.
these years, he thought he's Muslim.
Who?
Dr. Oz.
Well, but Muslim is
They
Islam
find
is a
out-
religion.
Islam, you can't confuse with religion with nationality,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
They
no.
say you could convert to being a Jew through Judaism, right? But you cannot convert. If I study Buddha, but that don't make me Chinese, right? A lot of
It's not.
people, if I study Islam, that doesn't make me Arabic, right? I would be what, a black man, a so-called black man who converted, right? In order to be a Jew, Jew come from the word Judah, right? If you would have to be born, it's not by belief, it's by nationality, right? So even if you don't follow the scriptures, if
You
you
still-
born from the children of Israel, that still make you one of the Israelites. You understand? Now the people today that claim the land, for the most part, the people today that claim the land, they are converts. They have converted to the ways of the Bible, but however, they are not the chosen people of the scriptures.
No way. So for who God chosen
I
the
prove-
land?
Can you give me
the
Deuteronomy
Israel land.
28:68? Now this
No,
is a
you
prophecy.
You can tell me like accurate answer for whom God promised the land of Israel, Palestine.
I'm gonna show
He's
you.
gonna explain it
We're
to you.
gonna show you. Because listen, you could say no. I could say no, right? Let's see what the Bible says, right? Let's see what the Word of God says.
God
Let's
promised
listen.
it to
Because it's not what I say, it's not what you say, right? It's what the word say. Let's find out what God told the children of Israel, what will happen
How
to
long
them
is it?
if they sin
Let me-
against Him. Give me that. 28:16.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 68. And the Lord Yahweh shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
Hold up. The Lord said the word Egypt means slavery, bondage. He said, if you sin against me, I'm going to bring you into Egypt or bondage again. Now, this is the book of Deuteronomy. They was already delivered from Egypt in Exodus. And when they went into Egypt, they went in there 70 souls.
Okay,
He said,
so they done with
Listen carefully.
slavery.
Listen carefully. He said, I'm going to bring thee, the children of Israel, into another bondage. But how would you get there?
He said, again with ships.
I will bring thee into another bondage by ships, cargo, slave ships. Read on.
By the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again.
You shall see your homeland no more again. Read on.
And there ye shall be sold.
And not only would you go into bondage by ships, but when you get where you're going, you're going to be sold on auctioning blocks. And they put you on blocks. They sold the mother, they sold the daughter, they separate. You know the history of slavery. He said, when you get where you're going, you're going to be sold
unto your enemies.
Unto your enemies. Read on.
For bondmen.
For slave men. Read on.
And bondwomen.
And slave women. Read on.
And no man shall buy you.
And no man shall buy you. That's why, meaning no man shall save you. Because the Messiah is coming to save his people.
So you're going with the like something or nation.
Hold on, I'm almost done.
No one wants them.
Hold on, I'm almost done. That's why he said no man shall save you. That's why these people is in the condition that they in to this day. Now, question. Other nations have been in slavery. Other nations have been oppressed. But it's only one people whose whole nation went into slavery by cargo slave ships and was sold on auctioning blocks where they got to the place they was going, and that's this people. That eliminates everyone else. So this is how this is how we know who the children of Israel are, through prophecy. The prophecies of the Bible fit these people.
Okay, so according to you, the other option, because we are, as a Jewish nation, we are punished by God. So the other option that God has is these children.
You are from Israel, right?
Yeah.
Cool. Now, not everybody that is in it, we're not saying that just everybody in there is not a Jew. These people right here are part of the curse that the Most High put on them, was that they were going to be scattered into every nation.
But it happened.
Yes. Now here's the thing.
The Spain, it happened. It was.
Yes, no, I understand that
history. On the
history.
future.
I understand that, but look, listen to when did the Most High tell them this? When Moses had brought them out of Egypt, right? All the way back in Exodus. He was talking to these people, the 12 tribes. He told them, if you don't obey my word, this is what's going to happen to you in the future. You and your children, and it will keep happening to you.
And the future
is from that time all the way till now. So when we read this curse, following, yes. So when we read the curse, we look today and we say, okay, who on the planet Earth is still suffering these same curses? Because this is the curse that the Most High put. These are the people that feel that condition.
So those are still suffering from the punishment
that came on them.
You ever heard the song Kumbaya, my Lord? Kumbaya, my Lord. Kumbaya.
Yeah.
That's a slave hymn. The slave sung that song. My Lord is English, but Kumbaya is Hebrew. The Yah is short for Yahweh, or people say Yahweh, but the true name is Yahweh, right? But that's neither here or there, right?
It's the name of the God, but we are not. We're not allowed to pronounce.
Yeah, you say Hashem, right?
Yeah.
But I don't want to derail the conversation. The point is Kumbaya. The slave sung a song, Kumbaya, my Lord. We know that that's a very popular song, a slave hymn. It's actually slave hymn the slave sung. But the question is, my Lord is English, but what language is Kumbaya? Kumbaya is Hebrew. Kumbaya is Hebrew.
Yeah.
Now question, why are the slaves that was brought here from the west coast of Africa singing in the Hebrew tongue?
Why?
Was they master trying to teach them Hebrew?
it so?
No, they was trying to teach them English, right? And they was trying to beat that Hebrew out of them. They was trying to beat their native language out of them. So the question is, why are the slaves that was brought here off the west coast of Africa?
What is the
The
song?
answer is because that's their native language. Kumbaya is Hebrew. And what people the Hebrew belong to? Ultimately, the children of Israel.
The children in Israel and the children of Noah come.
No, the children of
No, but the history.
yeah, but that's why I'm going into the lineage, right? So when I left off, because it don't make it all make sense. You have to follow the lineage, right? When you had Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Jacob is where these people come from. Now we're familiar with the children of Israel being in Egypt. Then they left Egypt. The Lord brought them to the land of Canaan, the land of Israel. They stayed there for a while, and then later on, you had like the Assyrians came, put them in slavery, right?
Yeah.
When the Assyrians came, you remember the time of
the Bible, the Babel, Iran.
Assyrians. They're more around Iraq. Yes. Now, the kingdom of Israel after King David, we all know David. After King David, you have Solomon.
Yeah.
After Solomon, the kingdom split.
Because they are not deserved to.
Yes. So the Most High split the kingdom. So when he split it, you had Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, southern kingdom. Then you had Simeon on down to Issachar, northern kingdom, 2 kingdoms. After this, when the Assyrians came in, they took the northern kingdom into slavery. They took them out of the land of Israel all the way to Assyria, in slavery over there for a period of time. When that slavery was over, the northern kingdom here, they left the east and came to the Americas. This is why when you read from the book of Jeremiah on to the future, all you hear about is the tribe of Judah, the southern kingdom, right? You don't hear about the northern kingdom that much because they were already here in the Americas. When you follow the history from them, the lost tribe, yes. Why they lost? Because they left the east, came to the Americas. The Native Americans, that's these people who came here, and they spoke Hebrew. Christopher Columbus.
So this is the source of the Kumbaya.
Boom.
Well,
Yes,
the Negroes sung Kumbaya, but the Native Americans, they also spoke Hebrew too.
Same language, yes.
When Columbus came here, he brought Hebrew interpreters on his boat.
Louis de Torres. Yep.
Louis de Torres?
Yep.
Yeah, I couldn't think his
When
name.
he came
You
here.
can actually look that up. When he came here, he had Hebrew interpreters on his
Why
boat.
no one embraces it?
Because it's the truth, but they're trying to hide it. Think about this, right? Imagine if all these things we're telling you came out into the public. People are going to start asking questions saying, wait, if these are the true chosen people, then who are the people that are there right now saying that they're the chosen people? And that they don't want that information to come out. So that's why they cover it up and they say, no, you're not Judah, you're a Negro. Before they were called Negro,
Like a bomb.
yes,
Right.
exactly.
Now, when the elder mentioned something, he said that these are the people of Israel. You said no. Why did you say that?
Because this is what
That's what you was taught.
Your group, that's it.
This is what I grew up on. This is
Now look, it's all for what? Truth's sake.
This is my
Now
identity.
these are the
Where
people.
are you here?
Look, color. I'm gonna say this. Color
I'm Levi.
doesn't matter, but
Are you-
color is an indicator. I'm gonna say this again. Color doesn't matter, but color is an indicator. Now, going back, you
I
have
always say that.
some Jewish people that line go back to these people.
Right.
Like when you go to the Sephardic Jews, going back to Spain, the Sephardic Jews were a lot of them were Negroes, and they mixed in with Queen Isabella, the Spanish Inquisition, because one of
by rape.
right. So
Rape
a lot
the
of
woman.
a lot
So
of them
they
mixed
came
in.
from black to cacao and
That's what I'm
in the
saying.
end-
So some of the people that's calling themselves Jewish, some of them actually goes back. They look different. They might look like you, but their father line actually goes back to the real children of Israel. But them people over there on the whole are not the children of Israel on the whole. But you do have some scattered amongst them that go back to this lineage. Now, I want to read something to you from the scholars. This is the Zondervan Bible Dictionary. This is what they figured out. Now, these are biblical scholars. This is what they said under Ham, because Ham made the Africans, right? Africans come from Ham, but Shem, the Jews come out of Shem. So, and when you look at the Jews, we dark, just like the Africans. But what? We two different nations. And this is what they're gonna say. Read that.
Ham, the youngest son of Noah, born probably about 96 years before the flood, and one of eight persons to live through the flood.
Right.
He became the progenitor.
He became the forefather, the progenitor
of the dark races.
Of the dark races.
Not the Negroes.
Not the Negroes. So hold on. These scholars know that the Africans and the Negroes are two separate people. Even though we came, because when 70 AD happened, when the Romans sacked Jerusalem, we fled into Africa. And we wound up fleeing to the west coast of Africa, and then we was grabbed and brought to the Americas. But while we was, you got Timbuktu?
I can pull up the page.
Yeah, give me Jews of Angola in the Timbuktu. It'll tell you that, and what they say in school, they say blacks sold blacks into slavery, right? But it was really the Africans who sold the Negroes into slavery, because we was two separate people. They dark like us, they had kinky hair like us, but we was two separate nations. But the scholar said, but not the Negroes.
Right, and it says, but the Egyptians.
But he was the forefather of the Egyptians, Africans,
Ethiopians,
Africans,
Libyans,
Africans,
and Canaanites.
Africans, but it clearly separates the Negroes from the Africans. Now, these are modern day scholars who done this, but why would they write that if they didn't know that the Negroes in America that was brought here from slavery are not the children of Shem that goes back to the Jews? And we're not African. Matter of fact, that name African just got on us. They never called us African before the term African American. We was called Negroes, we was called colored people, we was called all types of names, but they never referred to us as Africans. And if you check it out, when the Africans come over here from Africa, they separate themselves from the Negroes in America. They don't group with us because they know that they are a different people. They from Ham and we from Shem.
Yeah.
That's Jews of Angola. In appearance. Yeah. Let's start with in appearance, these Jews. Hold on 1 second, brother. Is there multiple numbers in there? It says in appearance, these Jews are hardly distinguished.
Oh, I got it.
Yeah. Now, this is a book, Babylon of Timbuktu, right? Read that.
It says, in appearance, these black Jews.
Now, the Angola is off the west coast of Africa, but it's further south on the western coast of Africa, going more into like the Ivory Coast. And that's where the French had like mainly conquered, right? So this is what it says about the Jews of Angola. Read.
It says, in appearance, these black Jews are hardly distinguishable from the other Africans.
Yeah, because they got woolly hair like us and they got dark skin like us. So it says in appearance, they are hardly distinguishable. Read.
It says, it has been reported that these Jews practice some divination and magic like native Africans.
And that's where the Haitians get the voodoo from the black magic that they picked up on when they was in west coast of Africa, from being amongst the Africans. That's where they picked up that voodoo thing from. That's why I said, read it again.
It says, however, they observe, it says,
read it from the top.
In appearance, these black Jews are hardly distinguishable from the other Africans. It has been reported that these Jews practice some divination and magic like native Africans. However, they observe some Jewish ceremonies.
Oh, we still kept some of our Jewish ceremonies, read.
and live in separate communities,
And we lived, while we was in Africa, we lived in separate communities.
not considering themselves native Africans. That's it.
That's it, man. Close the book.
That's it. It's over.
If I want to know
So-
about there is any
YouTube.
website. Oh, really?
Yeah, YouTube. You can. You have a pen and paper? Write down on. You can get you the channel. You can find it on YouTube and go in there. Because if you watch it, you'll find out
There's
that
so much knowledge that
you didn't know about.
I know I did, but long time ago.
So
It's
now
kind of surprising
resurfacing.
to see that we have that, right? It's a little surprising to see
I'm not
that.
got paper?
How did they have this knowledge? Right, because you know why? Because we're in the end. We're in
That's
the end
my
I
book
was
bag.
walking by and I was like,
I'm not. That's my book
Right.
bag.
Which website?
It's on YouTube. I'm gonna write it down
So
for you.
right
Yeah.
now, the reason why we're out here is because we are the prophets of the Lord. When you read the scriptures, you talk about Jeremiah, Isaiah, all these men, we're all back
Who
here
are the
again.
leader?
Huh?
Who are the leader?
Well, the Yahushua is our leader.
Right.
Yahushua is our Yahweh Bashem Yahushua through the
No,
Spirit
but
is our
who
leader.
who is the speaker?
Well, we're all speakers.
Well, we all speak, right? I'm the eldest
He's the
one
eldest, yeah.
of the church.
Yeah, but
But,
who is sitting in front of me?
huh?
Well, the audience.
YouTube. Yeah, there's
Oh.
people. Yeah, there's people watching.
yeah.
Oh,
online.
people are
Yeah, we have an order amongst ourselves, but
You are
the,
the head?
huh?
You are the head of the...
No, well, it's another brother who's actually, right, so it goes deep, right? Because, like, when you deal with people, see, we don't like to glorify man, right? We don't like to glorify man. Because, look, we just mortal men, right? The Lord set up men,
Stay humble.
right? The Lord set up men to have order, right? I'm one of the leaders, but it's his brothers that's over me. But we don't.
Right.
No, we don't do that. You know, we all brothers in the Lord, and we all trying to do right by the Lord. But the Lord do set up a hierarchy. But brothers, but look, you see, they teach it. I'm just here.
And you have this community only in the US or only
It's all over the world. Let me write down.
You write it under
And
there.
you are from America? You're all in America?
See, now, the point I was making is that the reason why you guys are able to hear what we're talking about is because we're in the end days. And the Lord, Yahushua, the one who the world called Jesus Christ, what do you guys call him in America?
Yes.
Right. His name?
Real quick. You call him Yeshua. You know why? Yeshua in English. Yes, but Yeshua in English. Do you know what the English name of Yeshua is? Joshua. You're trying to say Joshua in Hebrew. But the correct way of saying Joshua in Hebrew is Yahushua. That's why we keep saying Yahushua. Yahushua. Because
Not Yahushua.
no,
That's Joshua. Yeshua is
Yahushua.
Joshua.
Take a picture of
Yeah, it is.
But the Hebrew pronunciation
I'ma put
is
it back.
Yahushua. Because when you go into Hebrew, right, from the alphabet, you have Ava, Gada, Hawa, all the way. The Hebrew sounds, the only sounds in Hebrew are A and I. There's no E, there's no E, there's no U, there's no U.
the Masoretic
Masoretic text, yes.
added vowel.
That's
Yeah.
it. So you can't say Yeshua, that's not proper Hebrew. It's Yahweh Shai. I.
Tell you something else. When the Israeli from Egypt landed in Armenia, do you know the first language the Jewish had when knew it's Aramaic?
Aramaic?
Aramaic. Armenian. Aramaic. The part of the Bible, have you heard it?
Which part?
God. I'm sorry?
You said the part of the Bible?
Part of the Bible was written in Aramaic.
Yeah, Aramaic. Aramaic, yeah.
You know that?
Yeah, it's
Then
like
it
Hebrew.
being translated to Hebrew.
It's real close to Hebrew,
then-
but the Hebrew came up first because
Yeah, but
Hebrew
Hebrew-
and Aram.
Yeah.
Before the flood, Aramaic was dealing from the Syrian. Aram, then you had Eber. That's where you get the word Hebrew from. Yeah. Yeah, Aram. They very close. That's why when Jacob went to Laban,
Syria,
yeah, they spoke Arab, but they were still able understand each other because it's like very close. Yeah.
Different
Yeah,
dialects.
But the Hebrew does
Hebrew is a
predate the
very special
Aramaic.
Language.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, those are the channels. You can find them on there. But like the elder said, one last thing to remember is you may be in the land, Jewish, but there's a possibility that your line goes back to one of these men. Say if I went to Israel
I'm
right now,
Levi.
right?
I'm
If I went to
Levi,
Israel
and I'm
right
very
now,
proud.
and I found
Can I
a
take a picture?
yeah, go ahead. If I went to the land of Israel
And
right
you
now,
are Levi too.
yes, we are. If I went to the land of Israel
But
right
I'm
now,
Levi first.
one second, I got you. If I went to the land of Israel right now, and I started a family over there, I married a woman and have children, I'm dark. But if the woman was like lighter skinned, the baby could come out looking like her. And then he has children and they have children, 10 generations down, you cannot
But-
tell the difference.
Before you go, they say, because we're Jewish, they say it goes back through your mother, right? But that's wrong. The Bible says what? It goes through your father. Your father's lineage carried it. That's another truth. Because read that. Number, before you go. Numbers 123.
Don't
No,
don't
it has to be the father.
But it's logic. The
No,
baby comes from
listen to the logic though.
from
It's
her
just common
body.
sense, right? The seed, dealing with seed, whether it's a child, whether it's an apple, whether it's a watermelon, whether it's a plum, right? Seed is seed. Seeds are not split or mixed. The seed of something is the seed of something.
seed.
So if I take a marijuana seed, right, and I plant it anywhere on the earth, what's going to grow? Marijuana, but it would take on the characteristics of the land I put it in. If I grew marijuana in Arabia, it might have red firs, white firs. If I grew marijuana in Alaska, it might be different. It got different types of marijuana based upon what area it was grown in. You have marijuana called hydro that was grown underwater, right? And it looks different from marijuana grown on the other side of the earth. The point is, it's still marijuana. So no matter where somebody plant their seed, it will take on the characteristics of that environment, but it's still a marijuana plant. So it's the same thing with people.
So
No
what-
matter
so what's
where
important- So what's important? The seed of the marijuana.
Huh?
The marijuana comes from,
From
the seed.
the
No, who's important?
The seed.
No,
This-
seriously, marijuana.
No, you have to
Think
put
about
the
it.
you have to put the seed in the earth to get the marijuana.
Okay, but then coming out marijuana.
But what does the marijuana have?
What do you use the
Seed.
marijuana? Okay, what the marijuana does for you? Spread.
How does it
The
spread?
seed, it's still there.
No. The seed
No,
grows
you-
to the
What you're
marijuana.
saying is that the marijuana is not important. It's the seed that is important.
No, that's not what he's saying.
The marijuana becomes the look. You see this tree right here? Somebody put a seed in the earth. The seed grew into this tree.
Isn't it
If this
beautiful
tree,
and you
if this
don't
tree
need
was
it?
an apple tree, then each apple,
אומרת לגמרי, הוא אומר, he said that according to
According to the Bible.
the Bible.
According to the Bible. Yes.
Any genealogy, it mentions the
No
father.
Bible.
It's one Bible.
Look,
Bottom line,
123.
we all
Read that.
believe
Look,
in
look,
God.
read it.
Now this was in. Remember
believe in
Moses?
God,
Remember
and
the
that's what
wilderness with Moses. The children of Israel were scattered because they fled out of Egypt, so they had to group back up in their tribes. And this is what Moses said. Read that.
Which I'm sure you believe. Numbers chapter 1, verse 2. It says, take ye the sum of all the...
23. 1 and 23.
Oh, okay. Numbers chapter 1, verse
You know that
23.
Bible by
Yeah, I
heart?
heard it before.
It says, those that were numbered of them, even of the tribe of Simeon, were 50 and 9,000.
They declared a pedigree.
18. Oh, that's
1 and 18.
This is a book of Numbers chapter 1, verse 18. And they assembled all the congregation together.
After Egypt, they fled into the wilderness. They considered all the congregation of Israel together. Read.
On the first day of the second month, and they declared their pedigrees
Their pedigrees. Read on.
after their families
After their families,
by the house of their fathers,
by the house of their fathers.
according to the name, according to the number of the names from 20 years old and upward.
Yeah, because
by
they
folds.
went by the lineage of their fathers, because man carried the seed. Woman doesn't have seed. Women are like an incubator. They like the planet Earth. So a man could put his seed in a woman like you. He could be as dark as this brother, but that seed would take on the characteristics of you, of your genetics. But although he's come from the actual Levi.
You said something very logical because by also pronouncing in Hebrew seed is Zerah.
Sarai.
Zerah. In Hebrew.
Zerah.
Yes,
Yazarah Allah. He is the seed of the father. Zerai, seed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seed is Zerah. And
Right.
She has the egg.
She don't carry seed.
Don't carry seed. So I hear you, and it's like, right. It's
Jesus
logical.
is from
No,
the
just a
seed of
second.
David.
It's logical, not about the human being, about the nature. What is growing is the seed, not the egg.
Right.
So thank you.
Oh, so you know. You gotta listen to her. 'Cause she understands.
No, I have a lot to tell them.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Sure you do.
Hey,
Yeah,
Alright.
likewise. You guys take care.
Hey, that's it. That's it.
I was like, man, she looks like she got a spirit on her.
She might be Jake. The other one might not.
Yeah.
I think they both
Yeah, they come Jacob. You know how they come. Hey, but it's a spirit because you have.
They both got it, but the shorter
she
one was
little-
more stubborn.
Yeah.
She didn't want to admit it.
Exactly.
Yeah. But she could tell she understood.
She kept laughing and smiling every time we said something. She's like,
Yeah.
how the fuck did
Because
they
it
know?
was the truth is unrefutable, and you gotta be a real dickhead scoffer to straight up see the truth and know it's. Now you got people who don't see it as the truth. The Lord blinding them, but you gotta be a real fucking bonehead to see it and identify it and straight up lie in front of it and say, I don't see it that way. Especially the type of examples brothers was using, history and breaking things down, that it was undeniable.
And she called her. They called themselves Amalek, but they even admitted it. That
About
yo,
the
what you said,
Khazars.
yeah, exactly. And they said what you said. It makes sense. So how is that you got Jake? You tell him that? Oh, no, you guys are tripping out.
You got people who claim to be us. And when they're shown that they are not us, we are the people, they say, oh, you're right. And why do they say that? Because they were taught that they are us. A lot of them don't even know the truth. So when they come up and they hear the truth, they're like, oh shit, you are right. That actually does make sense. But Jake, nah, Jake don't want to hear that.
The Lord said he sent them strong to root,
Right.
that they shall believe a lie.
Yeah, and that's why the scriptures talk about having patience. Because had we just said, oh, y'all, get out of here, you guys are heathens, yada yada. Yo, who's to say that they can't receive that and whatever? Because Paul said, what? I have planted, Apollos watered, but the Most High gave the increase. So our job is to give the message. Because you don't, like the elder said, it's not about skin color. You can't judge according to the outward appearance. We don't know what the Lord is going to have happen with them and them receiving what we just said later on. But we've done our job because we've sown the seeds. So whatever happens from there goes from there. But you got to know how to deal with different kinds of spirits, different ways.
Right. And you can't, like you said, go off for outward appearance. Lord said, try the spirit by the spirit.
Right.
You know, you say they Amalek, like some of them Amalekites, I wouldn't say, of course, all of them, but some of them Amalekites actually go back to Jake, especially if you know about the taking over of Spain with the Sephardic Jews. A lot of them was mixing in with Esau, and they was mixing back. So some of them that's over there with fucking yarmulkes and shit on their head are actually Israelites, man. But the Lord said, try the spirit by the spirit. You can't just be like, oh, you so-called Jews, get the hell up out of there. So we gave them balance. We told them people not the people, but I also had to add that balance. And it ain't about winning them over. It's just about it's about truth sakes. You can't tell half of the fucking story.
Right.
And that's what a lot of you camps out there doing. You gotta tell, like, yeah, these people are the people of the Lord, and this is an indicator. Like I said, listen, color don't matter, but color is an indicator. You know what I'm saying? Like Esau, the Lord used Cain. He used an indicator to put on. Right. But you got our people that look like that, so it is an indicator. Yes, predominantly the children of Israel are people of color. However, you will have our people look like the other nations, so you got to be careful. And that's bringing it home full throttle. You can't teach half. That ain't the truth if you teach in half. So you got to tell them, like, yeah, these people, this is an indicator, because this board of the Israelites run deeper than this. You know, these brothers from Ghana, they're not black Americans or, you know what I'm saying, this and that. So you got our people, like, spread all over, like, the four corners of the earth. So you got to come full throttle with the whole message, man. And so that way they can sit there and decipher, you know what I'm saying, and through their spirit, you know, because sometimes people feel left out, like, oh, well, I'm from this land, I ain't got a chance in hell, like, you know what I'm saying? So the spirit will be trying to resonate with them, but they so carnal dealing with the flesh, they like, oh, I ain't, you know. So, but now the Lord, the Spirit could deal with them because they got both sides of the coin.
Yeah, hey, that's heavy because that's how, like the elder said, it's bringing it home. Because 3 weeks ago, that's something I've noticed too. 3 weeks ago, there was a young lady who came up here.
I was just thinking that.
Yes.
She was also Amalek.
She was Amalek.
Called herself Amalek.
Right. And she came up here and the brothers edified her. And when she left, she was like, oh, and then brother said, yo, hey, you might be part of these people over here. You might be one of us. You just look the way you look, just like the elder said to those young women who came up here. And then, right on time, another two come up here who are saying, oh, we're Amalek. But then we're like, hey, you might recognize yourself as Amalek based on what you've been taught. But hey, nationality-wise, you might be an Israelite, man. You might be a true child of Israel.
You know who caught him?
The sign.
This is why it says in Ezekiel, go out with the sign, because I saw them. They passed by, and when
Looked
they
at it.
saw that, they came back and they said it.
Yep.
They said, oh, we see the sign. And they said exactly what the prophecy says. When they pass by and they come and they ask you, son of man, what meanest thou by this? Then you're going to explain on to them.
Yeah, that was heavy.
Right. So
That
the
was heavy.
Lord is bringing everything home full circle because you've dealt with Jake. You're dealing with Jake. Oh, you guys are so-called blacks, Latinos, Native Americans, and the Israelites. But then you have the Israelite foreigners. You have those who are Israelites but don't look like us, man. So now the Lord is like, yo, I'm about to close out the show. You got a lot of people, and even the elders been talking about it, that you have people who are so-called Jewish, but they're actually Israelites, man. And this is an example of that. The Lord is saying, especially them being women, you could be of your father's seed who's an Israelite,
And
but
you
you
know
don't even
how
know.
stubborn, you know this is the Lord's Spirit because you know how stubborn a woman could be.
Yeah.
You know, they get wrapped up in their feelings, but they, you know, they was older women, so too.
Right.
So that do play a difference because when as women age, they get a little bit better grip on their emotions. They're not like how they more jumpy when they're young. But still, when you say something offensive, or not just offensive, when you say something, especially dealing with somebody's religion, how you've been taught. When you say something like against that, people automatically, that's why she said no like that.
Right.
She was like, I forgot what was said. She was like, no.
They're not the chosen people.
These people are chosen. She
No,
was like,
yeah,
no.
yeah, yeah,
Right.
But she ain't say no to really logically say no. She was just in defense, like, because like I've been taught this my whole life.
She said that, yeah.
That's why I had to get her to calm down. Like, no, it's not what we say or you say. It's what the word said. You know, so now that's why you always got to go back to that word, man, and break it down. It's good to give examples because those examples shed light on the scriptures. And she knew a little bit. That's why she knew the word Zerah means seed. She was like, damn, man, carry the seed. Because the truth, a lot of the truth is like logic. And like the truth is common sense. Not all of it. You know what I mean? I ain't gonna say Daniel's 11 is common sense, but you know, but the truth, a lot of the truth, when you like put things together, you're like, damn, it makes sense.
And it also shows why the scriptures say, study to show thyself approved, because when they ask certain questions, you, like I remember from you, because whenever you would ask questions, you always say you study with a buffer zone. You don't just study one thing, study everything around it. Because somebody can ask you a question around whatever you're saying, and you got to know how to answer them. The scriptures say that. So you notice that it wasn't just like, I believe this, you believe this, but we hit them with facts. We hit them with points. We hit them with the genealogies, with the scriptures, and that's why they were like, all right, these guys, they definitely got to know something. There's got to be some truth in here because they're not just talking out their ass. They studied this. And they don't expect that, right?
That's
They
what
walk
she
past
said.
their head.
She said to her, it's kind of like refreshing that this kind of knowledge that's like suppressed, it's actually like people actually know about that and they actually say it. That's why she said, is there a leader? Do you have a community? Is this worldwide? Is this something everyone knows? Because she's like, what the fuck? Like, how do you guys know this stuff? And you know it so well because as we're saying things, the shorter one, she's smiling and like, look, she's like,
This is
man,
probably
like,
stuff they hear in the synagogue.
right, exactly. And she said, I'm Levi too. But you notice, right, she said I'm Levi first. But you see how they're trying to cling on to that. That's how special we are. Now, she said, I'm Levi. She never pushed her finger to Haitians, right? So-called Haitians, she just kept it at Levi. You see why? Because she wouldn't be recognized as a so-called Haitian today. But if I was to meet a so-called Haitian today, I'll say, oh, bro, you go back to this. You go back to Levi. I'm not going to say, oh, you're Haitian. But if I meet somebody else, I'll be like, well, the so-called the Levites today are the so-called Haitians. Right. If I meet a Haitian, I'm not going to say, hey, you are, no. I said, you are a so-called Haitian, but you're actually a Levite.
That's what you're called today.
That's what you're called today.
Right,
see-
and they put emphasis on them rabbis and shit.
Right,
That's why they
right,
was
that's
like,
why-
who's
yeah,
the
yeah,
leader,
yeah,
this
right,
and
right,
that.
right, right.
And we kind of had to cast that down because it's not about glorifying man.
Right.
Now, we have order in the church as far as structure goes, this and that. But like, yo, yeah, you know, I'm the elder, then it's an elder over me. I'm not the head of the camp, but I'm the elder. But you know, it's just for church structure. Brothers don't buy. I don't tell brothers like, you're going to eat this today. You know, you're going to go here. You're going to take this way home and shit like that. And because that's the power these religious organizations be having over people. You know, like, yo, everybody smash their wife doggy style for the rest of this month. And we ain't doing shit like that. But that's the power these. That's why she's like, who's the leader? Is it you? I'm like, no. It's the Lord. It's the Lord. We all follow the Lord. We deal with carnal structure. But if a man go on, he take his seat down. You know, brothers pray for him, whatever. Anybody could go on. King David went off. King Solomon went off. We don't go off of man. So, and then they deal with that rabbi, that whole rabbi shit. And they look at them as like God or the Messiah, and that shit is off.
Yeah.
Yeah, going into Israel looking like the other nations. Jeremiah 12:9. Mine heritage is unto me as a speckled bird. The birds round about her, the birds round about are against her. Come ye, assemble all the beasts of the field, come to devour.
Right. She doesn't look like the average group that she's in, right? That's why they're against her, because they're like, oh, she looks like an outcast, you know. And it's very, very important. The topic of Israelites being scattered, Israelites looking like other nations is very, very, very important. There's a reason the Lord had the Apostle Paul convert his ass and have him go all that way to do that. There's a reason that the scriptures of the Hellenists, the Gentile, there's a reason that all of that is in there, because there's a big, big, big part of prophecy.
2/3 of the nation is really Northern Kingdom. They were mostly scattered throughout. Because during the time of Yahushua and the disciples, they were mostly dealing with Southern Kingdom. And that's Judah, Benjamin, Levi. But what about the rest? Majority of them weren't even in Jerusalem. Majority of the tribes weren't in Jerusalem at that time. So that's why the Lord called Apostle Paul to go out there and teach the majority of the people who are scattered throughout Asia Minor and so on and so forth. So that was majority of the work of Apostle Paul was bigger than the disciples back then.
Yeah, because that's why he had all those churches. He went all the way into Greece and all of that. Why would the Lord have the Apostle Paul go all the way there? Because he said what? There's some sheep that I have that are not of this fold. So we have to come out, and that's why they're called the lost sheep. Well, she even said the lost tribes. They're lost. Right. So if they're lost, we're supposed to call them and let them know. It's like you see a sheep and you like, yo, this sheep is like spotted and brown, but everyone in the flock is all white. So what's going on? You're not one of these sheep. Get out of here. How do you know that one sheep that strayed away didn't go and then lay with another, like the Jacob joint, and then come with this? You know, this is the Lord's word. It's not up to us. We don't get to decide who's an Israelite and who's not. We don't get to say, you get salvation, you don't. Right. All we get to do, based on what you look like. Right. All we get to do is just give the word and let the Lord deal with it. That's it. Because if somebody wants to hear the word, we can't say you can't hear it because you look like this. Right. The Lord's going to jack you up.
Right. Matthew 28:19. Go ye therefore and teach all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit, teaching them to observe all things whatsoever I have commanded you. And lo, I am with you always, even unto the end of the world. Amen.
You know the Apostle Paul, when he went to, what was it he went to? When he spoke on Areopagus, Mars Hill, and I think Athens or so. Now, when he went there, he was speaking to the Athenians. But even amongst them, it says that some believed what he said and some said, nah, this guy is crazy. And I think that's where you had a Dionysius, there was an individual like that, right? Now, had the Apostle Paul never went there and spoke to the Athenians, how would the Israelites who would believe that were amongst them have heard about Yahushua to come back and repent? So he had to go to that nation, he had to go to the Athenians and preach to them so he can fish out the elect. It's like if you go to a body of water and you're like, all right, I know there's different kinds of fish in here, but I'm gonna throw my net anyway. Because then the ones that I'm looking for, that by chance they can get caught in my net, I can bring them and say, yeah, I'm gonna keep these, and the rest they can go back in the water. But if you say because it's predominantly catfish over here, I'm not gonna go here, what if there's a good kind of fish in there, but since you never went there, you never get it?
Just how we planted the word in them, they could go back amongst they world of Gentiles and
Spread it
release
there.
the word and pick the ones out that actually got ears and could actually be saved.
Yeah.
The account that you mentioned of the Apostle Paul. There's a book of Acts chapter 17, verse 32. And when they had heard of the resurrection of the dead, some mocked and others said,
Go into what he said. Okay.
There's a book of Acts chapter 17, verse 22. Then Paul stood in the midst of Mars Hill and said, Ye men of Athens, I perceive.
Because when Paul went there, he heard. I think that's where he saw the to the unknown God.
Yeah, that's
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
It says, I perceive that in all things ye are too superstitious. For as I passed by and beheld your devotions, I found an altar with this inscription, To the unknown God.
So they believed that there was a Most High, but they just didn't know the Most High. They didn't know the details.
It says, Whom thereof, or therefore, ye ignorantly worship, him declare I unto you.
So they ignorantly worship them. So you had, that's why they're lost. Because within them, their spirit is like, no, there is a higher power, but that zeal is not according to knowledge.
Yeah, that's it. So it says, verse 24, the Most High that made the world and all things therein, seeing that he is Lord of heaven and earth, dwelleth not in temples made with hands, neither is worshipped with men's hands, as though he needed anything, seeing he giveth to all life and breath and all things, and hath made of one blood all nations of men for to dwell on all the face of the earth, and hath determined the times before appointed and the bounds of their habitation, that they should seek the Lord, if haply they might feel after him.
Happily meaning perhaps, right? By chance,
Right. They might feel after him and find him, though he be not far from every one of us. For in him we live and move and have our being, as certain also of your own poets have said, for we are also his offspring.
So Paul knew about the different writings of the different poets, the writings of Seneca, and all those different the philosophers. He knew about that. Go on.
It says, verse 29, for as much then as we are the offspring of the Most High, we ought not to think that the Godhead is like unto gold or silver or stone, graven by art and man's device.
Right. So the powers that are above are not idols. Okay, they're not likened onto idols. You can, and why is Paul saying this? Because back then that was what people did. They recognized gods in idolized forms. So he was letting them know that no, the true Most High, he doesn't deal that way.
Continue in verse 30. And the times of this ignorance the Most High winked at,
because you didn't know any better.
Right. But now commandeth all men everywhere to repent.
So this is why you got to have patience, because had the Most High not had patience with you, you wouldn't be here. Because if you tell somebody something, right, and they tell you, no, like they said, like, this is what I was taught, out of ignorance, they didn't know any better. So this is innately what they think. So you got to give them that chance to put the right way there. Now, if they have the right way and they still say, nah, I ain't doing this, now they're willfully doing it. They're aware of what they're doing. So now it is sin unto them.
Verse 31, because he hath appointed a day in the which he will judge the world in righteousness by that man whom he hath ordained.
Which is Yahushua.
That's right. Whereof he hath given assurance unto all men, in that he hath raised him from the dead.
Which is Yahushua.
Right. And when they heard the resurrection of the dead,
so now he went into that part and they said, whoa, hold on, you talking about people, he said somebody came from the dead?
Right. Some mocked, because this is in Athens. So this is all the way in Greece. The resurrection happened in Jerusalem. So to them, they're like, what are you talking about, bro? Right? And back then, remember, word didn't travel like how it does today.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And even that.
That's why he was there.
Right. Even that, you still had, when the Apostle Peter was preaching, it says what? 5,000 souls were added to the church in one day. So imagine how many people are waking up to this truth now, man.
The social media,
YouTube, you know? So it says, and when they heard of the resurrection of the dead, some mocked And others said, we will hear thee again of this matter.
So we'll talk. We'll come back another time for that. That's like when you telling somebody, right? Yo, the scriptures say this, but this is coming. That's why the government is doing this. But it's all gonna be okay because Yahushua is gonna come with the chariots. Then they stop. Hold on, what? A man is coming in the UFO. All right, I think you lost me there. Because now it gets too spiritual for them.
Right. They needed a tangible explanation to the intangible problem. It says, verse 33. So Paul departed from among them, right? Howbeit certain men clave unto him and believed, among the which was Dionysius the Areopagite, and a woman named Damaris, and others.
Areopagite meaning he was from there.
Right, and others with them.
So after the Apostle Paul has spoken, can the brother please give me Romans 10 and 13? How shall they, was it 13 and 10? How shall they hear without a preacher? So had the Apostle Paul not gone over there, how would Dionysius and them have received that? 10 and 13, come on, water. Whoever got it, you bring it.
Romans 10 and 13, for whosoever shall call upon the name of the Lord shall be saved.
Whosoever shall call upon the name of the Lord shall be saved. Okay, cool, go ahead.
How then shall they call on him in whom they have not believed?
So now if you're going to call on somebody, how are you going to call on somebody you have not believed? See, for example, they said they call him Hashem. But you're not calling on Hashem to be delivered. You're calling on Yahweh by Hashem. Hashem just means the name. Ha is the in Hebrew, and Shem is name. So you're saying Hashem, the name, but what name? You know? It's like if I'm telling you about somebody, yo, and that guy, man, yo, his name is crazy. That name, the name of his, the name. You're gonna tell me, bro, what is his name? What name? Who is he? Because I can't know somebody by you just telling me the name.
We keep saying
he.
Who the fuck is he?
Who's he? So that's why you can't call him Hashem. Hashem is just the name. You gotta say, what is this name? Yahweh is his name. So that's why we say Yahweh, Ba is in. For in Hebrew, Ba is in. So we say Yahweh, Ba Hashem, Yahweh in the name of Yahushua. So the Most High in the name of his son. But as it says, how are you going to call on somebody of whom you don't know?
And how shall they believe in him of whom they have not heard?
Right, so how are you going to believe in somebody that you've never heard about? You don't even know about them. You don't know they exist. So how are you going to believe in them? So you got to hear about them. You got to believe on them.
And how shall they hear without a preacher?
Right, so if like going back to the example of Paul, if Paul never went to Athens, how would Dionysius have known about Yahushua to even go and inquire? Because it says he clave onto him. So they wait, you said he rose from the dead. Like, what's going on? What do you mean by that? Inquire a bit more, learn a bit more, and then eventually he can know, then he can believe, then he can call, and he can be saved.
And how shall they preach except they be sent? As it is written, how beautiful are the feet of them that preach the gospel of peace and bring glad tidings of good things.
And it's glad tidings to those that can receive it, right? Because if somebody came to you telling you, look, you're not this, you're really the chosen people. There's hope for you. If you can receive it on good ground, of course it's glad tidings.
Right, because ultimately we know that there's no good thing that's coming for America, especially if you're here. So if anyone is going to be here telling you that, hey, look, you're of these people and you have a great chance of being delivered from the coming destruction, why wouldn't you want to take heed to that? But see, the Lord said that in the last days, we will be out here telling people about his word, and you're going to have people who are going to listen, and you're going to have people who are not going to listen. And the majority of people that we encounter, I'll say every 9 out of 10 people that you meet, they're not trying to hear what you got to say, bro. You know, and that's a fact because we live that. We actually go through that. You got people, maybe 5 out of 10 that might say some shit about, oh, yeah, I believe in the Bible, and, they might engage in a conversation, keep it cordial, exactly, right? But ultimately, if you scrutinize 10 people, you might find one person that's probably going to walk with you and be like, yo, bro, I believe everything you were saying, man, it makes sense. That you're going to feel a good spirit about that person, man. But for the most part, regular people, you don't even waste your time, you know?
Go ahead, sir. Acts 10 and 34, then Peter opened his mouth and said of a truth, I perceive that God is no respecter of persons, but in every nation he that feareth him and worketh righteousness is accepted with him. The word which the Most High sent unto the children of Israel, preaching peace by Yahushua HaMashiach, he is Lord of all.
Yeah. Hey, Peter said that the Lord is not a respecter of persons. So those that belong to him, it doesn't matter which nation they're amongst, if they're of the tribes of Israel, because we just read it, that the word which the Most High sent unto the children of Israel. So they're saying, preach unto the nations, which reminds me of Tobit 13. Yeah, because the Israelites are scattered amongst all these different nations. You know, so I'll read the 35th verse again too. It says, but in every nation, he that feareth him and worketh righteousness is accepted with him. And the only ones that will be doing that is the Lord's people that are of the hopeful elect. October 13, I think, 13. Yep.
Here's the book of Tobit, chapter 13, start off at verse 3. It says, confess him before the Gentiles, ye children of Israel, for he hath scattered us among them.
Right. Confess him before the Gentiles, not because salvation is for the Gentiles, but because Israel is scattered amongst all these Gentiles. And that's exactly what people, that's a major, major stumbling block. You know, even for our people. Because you know how it is with Jake. If you ain't from my hood or you ain't from the country that I was from, they're not going to accept you.
Right.
Even like amongst the northern tribes, for example, like my mom's side is Ephraim, so-called Puerto Rican. If you're not from Puerto Rico or you didn't grow up there, you're not like our people. That's how they look at you. But if you scattered to another land, you're not like us, man. But we from the same stock, you know.
And they always look at you a little bit more lesser than them.
Yeah,
They
right.
be like, you can't even speak the language. Like, oh, you don't even know your heritage. Oh, you ain't one of us. You American.
Foreign.
Yeah, you're
Exactly.
foreign. Yeah.
And a lot of Jake back then, they were speaking Greek, and Israelites that they looked at that as like a bastard, filthy language. Like, oh, you speak Greek too. You know? I think there was a little more in that too.
So talk it up.
They call us gringos.
Yeah, gringos. Yeah, if you don't speak Spanish and you are so-called Spanish, they don't fuck with you.
We do not own the rights to that music.
Yeah.
They know that. But verse 4 it says, they declare his greatness and extol him before all the living. For he is our power, our Lord, and he is the power, our Father, forever. And he will scourge us for our iniquities, and will have mercy again, and will gather us out of all nations, among whom he hath scattered us. If ye turn to him with your whole heart and with your whole mind, and deal uprightly before him, then will he turn unto you, and will not hide his face from you. Therefore see what he will do with you, and confess him with your whole mouth, and praise the Lord of might, and extol the everlasting King. In the land of my captivity do I praise him, and declare his might and majesty to a sinful nation. O ye sinners, turn and do justice before him. Who can tell if he will accept you and have mercy on you?
Yeah, so the point was that, you know, Israel is scattered amongst all these different nations. So confess them before the nations, because Israel that's going to clave to the word, those that belong to Yahweh Shem Yahushua, they're going to come out. Like we just read in Acts 17 that he preached in Areopagus, and then certain were like, all right, yeah, we're going to talk to you later, whatever. And then certain of them actually received it and ended up being added unto the church. So that's how the Lord deals. He have us, we preach with prophets unto the nations. So we preach, and whoever it's meant to get to is going to get to. And that's up to the Lord ultimately. That ain't up to us.
Revelation 7 and 9. After this I beheld, and lo, a great multitude, which no man could number, of all nations and kindreds and people and tongues, stood before the throne and before the Lamb, clothed with white robes and palms in their hands, and cried with a loud voice, saying, Salvation to our God, which sitteth upon the throne, and unto the Lamb. And all the angels stood round about the throne, and about the elders and the four beasts, and fell before the throne on their faces, and worshiped God, saying, Amen.
That
also backing up the point that I was thinking about the different digging in different nations. That's why even the deliverance, first it talks about the 144,000, right? The 12 tribes. And verse 9 are the rest of the 12 tribes that are not a part of the 144,000, but they're still under the light.
Revelation 7 and 9. After this I beheld, and lo, a great multitude, which no man could number, of all nations and kindreds and people and tongues.
So when the Lord said, go and teach all nations, this was the result. Not that all nations came, but the elect amongst the nations came out. You know? What?
And tongues stood before the throne.
So they were speaking different languages. And an example is when you go to Acts the 2nd chapter, right? It talks about the Jews, devout men of all nations that came, and they spoke different languages, but they knew they were Israelites. So in this case, you're gonna have Israelites, because an Israelite that may be living in another land speaking their language, who wakes up to the fact that he's an Israelite, when Yahushua comes back, he's still gonna look like that other nation. He's still gonna speak their language, but he's gonna be delivered, and then he's gonna be changed, him or her. So that's why the multitude that John saw getting delivered, where they still look like, oh damn, you got people from this nation, from this nation, from this nation, and John is saying it as he's seeing it, okay? So we're the ones who are breaking it down, saying, okay, he said it like this because that's what he saw. But we're telling you that those people he saw are Israelites. It's all about the Israelites.
Just like how you had somebody who's of the elect, but he was known as the Ethiopian eunuch. Right? He's of the elect because the Lord specifically gave the instructions to Philip to go over there and teach him, because he was reading something and he didn't understand it. If he's not of the elect, why the Lord sent one of his men and baptized him? Right, and baptized him in the name of the Lord. And he believed. And it says that he went on his way home rejoicing and praising the Lord, man. It's a spirit. You know what I'm saying? But he was known as an Ethiopian eunuch. But he's of the elect. You see?
Revelation 7 and 9 continuing. Stood before the throne and before the Lamb, clothed with white robes and palms in their hands.
Which is purity, because we were made pure. Huh?
And cried with a loud voice, saying, Salvation to our God, which sitteth upon the throne, and unto the Lamb.
Because they believed. So they were of the elect. That's what
Ephesians 2 and 11. Wherefore remember that ye being in time past Gentiles in the flesh, who are called uncircumcision by that which is called the circumcision in the flesh made by hands, that at that time ye were without Hamashiach, being aliens from the commonwealth of Israel.
So now we got to break down what Paul's saying, right? How can you be a Gentile in the past, but you're not a Gentile now? How is that possible? So at one point I was Chinese, but then I turned black over time. I believed in the Lord and I just became black. That's not possible. That's not what happens, right? So what is Paul saying when he says in past time Gentiles? But now, right, because you were alienated, right? Because these were Israelites. It didn't change the fact that they were Israelites, but they were in a Gentile state of mind. Okay? They were living like Gentiles, acting like Gentiles. And if they looked like them, then you couldn't even tell them apart. Yeah, like all of us at one point.
We call ourselves Americans, because different countries, you call yourself by the name of the man that you think you're from. But you wake up and now you call yourself an Israelite. I am an Israelite from the land of, or from, from the country of whatever. It's the same thing.
12th verse again, that at that time ye were without Hamashiach, being aliens from the commonwealth of Israel.
Right, because they drifted away. So they now remember, when you had this is going to go into the circumcision, right? So you had Israelites that were living in the land, that stayed in the land, right? Because when you go back to the intertestamental period, right, the time in between New and Old Testament, during the time of the Greek takeover, Alexander all the way to Antiochus, all of that stuff right there was a lot of, that's where you had the Sadducees and the Pharisees start to form, right? Now the Pharisees, they were those at that time who were zealous, who said, no, we're not going to follow the ways of the Greeks. We'll stay with our customs. And then over time, over time it grew and became a body, a sect, as you have in the New Testament, that goes back there. Now you had Israelites that were witnessing other Israelites turning their backs on them and going and following the ways of the heathen. So as these Israelites witness that, they'll start telling their family, look, you have some of these people, they're the people that forsook the laws of our powers. They're not a part of us anymore. They've been cut off. So when you teach your children that and you have that community like that, up until the time of the New Testament, you had Israelites that knew, hey, they are some of our people that forefathers left us and went to be like the heathens. So we know that by nationality they're Israelites, but we don't mess with them. They to us, they're dead. This is why they didn't want to accept those Israelites that were in other parts. They were saying, no, you just like today, Jake today. You know, you messed up, you pretty much living like a heathen, getting ready to be destroyed. So now when you keep reading on that,
and strangers from the covenants of promise, having no hope and without the Most High in the world.
Well, did you already read about the being called uncircumcised?
Yeah. You want me to read it back?
Yeah, run it back.
Ephesians 2:11. Wherefore remember that ye being in time past Gentiles in the flesh, who are called uncircumcision by that which is called the circumcision.
So who were called the circumcision? Those that were in Judea that knew they were Israelites. They were keeping the law, statutes, and commandments. They were doing all of that. So any other Israelite that was abroad that wasn't doing the things they were doing there, they considered them uncircumcision. This is why even in the book of Acts it tells you that there was a murmuring with the Grecian woman against the Hebrews, right? There was a murmuring because it's kind of like you're an Israelite, but like, you know, you one of them, like you were saying about the green holes and all of that. So it's like, yeah, we'll include you, but like we're gonna side treat you kind of thing. Right. We're not gonna give you the same respect as those that were born here and you know have that privilege. Yes, exactly, because of all of that. But the Lord was saying, no, I'm not here to divide you guys. You guys have already been divided. I'm here to bring you back and make you whole. That's why Ezekiel talks about the two sticks coming together to become whole. So that's what the Lord is doing. That's why he said, now I'm gathering, right? He scattered us, but now he's gathering us by the word. Amos.
Shalom. We actually going to real quick. I found out some information. Acts 6. There's actually,
you want the blue letter or you want the...
No, just the chapter. There's actually two types of things. There's the because when you go into first in Acts, the second chapter, those were the devout Jews that came back to during the time of Pentecost, and that's what it was called the Grecians. Now those were the Jews, or what you call Jews or Israelites, that had some of them had either Greek names or probably was taken up in Greek fashion, but they still served the Heavenly Father. But then later on, when you go to Acts 10, that's when you have the real Gentile, well not real Gentile, but those Israelites that really fell away, that was really into the customs of other nations, and were acting like other nations, and probably had the names like other nations and things like that. When in Acts chapter 6, that's really talking about Israelites that still was serving the Heavenly Father, but they just had either Greek names, probably dressed like Greeks or whatever, dressed like heathen, and they also read the Septuagint as well. Because during that time you had what? In the synagogues you have either reading in the Hebrew or reading in the Septuagint.
Yep. That goes back to Ptolemy Philadelphus. Trying to translate that.
So I just want to, you might think that, because I thought that same thing, that the Israelite foreigners that just went way off. No, that's actually Israelites that still were keeping the customs. They just probably had Greek names, probably to Greek fashion, whatever type of stuff. But the ones that you read with Cornelius in Acts 10, that's the ones that went way far.
Yep.
Actually,
because you got the Greek and you got the Grecian, and I believe the Greek is Hellen and the Grecian is Hellenista.
there's two types.
Two types. Both. You have both. Some that were not born in the land, but they knew they were Israelites, and you had some that were not born in the land, but they didn't know they were Israelites.
And those that were born in the land but knew that they were Israelites, they had Greek names like Alexander, all that.
Yep.
But they still were devout, like it says in Acts 2, they still came back because they knew their heritage.
Yep.
That's why we
Yeah.
And in those days, Acts chapter 6, verse 1, and in those days, when the numbers of disciples was multiplied, there arose a murmuring of the Grecians against the Hebrews, because their widows were neglected in the daily ministration.
Now you have to ask yourself, why were they murmuring against that? Because they were neglected. Because what? They were always serving the Heavenly Father because they knew who they were. They just had different names, but they had Greek names and things like that, but they were still serving the Heavenly Father. Now when you go forward to Acts the 10th chapter, that's when we're dealing with Cornelius, Israelite foreigners, Gentiles, those that fell way far. That's the one that Paul talks about, like the brother mentioned in was 1 Corinthians chapter.
Get that whole, like the back what you're saying. Get the Bible.
Was it 1 Corinthians chapter 11? You know that you were Gentiles?
Yeah, you knew that you were Gentiles.
Yeah, that's when you reach Acts 10. That's those that went way far out. But that in Acts 6 is those that
We just read it in Ephesians, the 2nd chapter. That's going to Israel in Ephesus, which I believe that was in the realm of Greece. Ephesus? Or it was somewhere around it, but it wasn't like close to Israel.
Yeah, it was more west of Turkey. Right.
When you check, read that in Acts 6:1 in the KJV.
Acts 6:1. And in those days, when the number of disciples was multiplied, there arose a murmuring of the Grecians against the Hebrews.
Right, now read that in NIV.
It says, Acts chapter 6, verse 1 in the NIV, it says, in those days when the number of disciples was increasing, the Hellenistic Jews among them complained against the Hebraic Jews because their widows were being overlooked in the daily distribution of food.
Right, so it edifies it more. Right. It said the Hellenistic Jews complained against the Hebraic Jews.
They're all Jews.
Look, is there any more edification about the translation?
Oh yeah, it says the New Living Translation, the NLT says, but as the believers rapidly multiplied, there were rumblings of discontent. The Greek-speaking believers complained about the Hebrew-speaking believers, saying that their widows were being discriminated against in the daily distribution of food. So the Greek-speaking believers, which are the Greek-speaking Israelites, and you have the Hebrew-speaking Israelites.
Right.
But they all know.
They all know what's up. Exactly.
But later, Acts 10, those are the ones that were strong with Cornelius that don't know. Yeah, they had to come back.
Right, exactly. They have to be called back. Yep. So yeah, that's why it's called the mystery of the Gentiles. Right? If it was as plain as, no, you were Gentile, you were another nation, you were Israelite, you were another nation, where's the mystery? And the word, when we go into the word mystery, it says, it says, mysterious truth via divine revelation, hidden spiritual significance. It says a secret, something it has a hidden meaning. Okay, so that's what a mystery is, man. Secret, a secret. Yep. So the Lord deals with secrets. He doesn't want to give it to. Now the Lord, his secrets are different because the secrets are in the book, but he ain't saying I'm not going to give you the book. You can have the book, but the secret is in the understanding. I'm not going to give you the understanding of the book, the key. And you know what? And the Lord ain't even, this is how bad the Lord is, well really how good the Lord is. He said, look, I'm going to give you the book and I'm going to have somebody break it down to you, but I'm just going to make sure you don't get it. You can't tell a secret like that. I can tell you the secret, but you can't get the secret.
Yeah.
You get it? No.
That's good.
Amos 3:7. Surely the Lord God will do nothing, but he revealeth his secrets unto his servants the prophets.
So before the Lord does anything, he reveals his secret. Because what's the secret? The future's the secret. It's the Lord's secret because he knows it. He's about to do it, but we don't. Right? So he reveals that to us so that we can come and warn you because we know the secret. So that's why when you tell people, they're like, what? And then you show them in the scriptures and then the pieces start to connect. It's always been there. You just never saw it till now. It's just like, look at the story of Job. You see, the things that he was going through, it was almost like a secret. But the Lord had a council in the heavens among the angels about that secret, man. And he decided to go along with Satan, spiritual demon Satan. Now, when Job's friends came up there and they saw the calamities that had befallen Job, they were mystified by that. They're like, how are you such an upright man and this is all happening to you?
man, you must have been doing some secret shit, some wicked ass shit, and nobody knows about. That's why you go do all this shit. There ain't no way somebody who's righteous and serving the Lord to be going through all this shit because it was a secret. They didn't know about what's really going on behind closed doors. But
That's why he said. That's why one of his friends said, "Whoever perishes being innocent."
Innocent, exactly. You see? But ultimately, what? The secrets are revealed to the Lord's servants, the prophets. Okay? And we're the ones who go out there and carry out the word, give the mysteries out. And for those who have ears to hear and eyes to see, they're going to pick up on it. See, but the rest, the Lord says, no, I'm going to specifically blind them. I'm going to make their hearts fat and their ears heavy so they cannot receive this word, man. They're not going to be able to understand this mystery, man. The secret will continue to be a secret unto them, but to Yah, it's going to be made plain.
Very plain.
Very, very plain.
Oh yeah. Chelsea, yeah.
Laying back off the brother's point. Ephesians 1:8, wherein he hath abounded toward us in all wisdom and prudence, having made known unto us the mystery of his will, according to his good pleasure, which he hath purposed in himself.
So it was according to the Most High's good pleasure to tell some of us the secret, but not unto others. Of his what? Of his will. So what I'm planning to do, this is what I'm getting ready to do. Here's the inside scoop. Meaning, this is what's going to happen. This is how it's going to happen. This is what you got to do so that this doesn't happen to you. And then that's it. Don't worry about that. They're done. Now, you tell them the secret, but you can only really tell the secret to somebody that the Lord is allowed to receive the secret. You know, it's like a secret passcode, right? If I tell you the passcode and you know the passcode, you know what I'm talking about. But if you don't know it, it sounds like, what the hell are you saying? You know, like I'm saying like blue monkey cat. You know, you like blue monkey cat. But if I say blue monkey, oh, hey, blue monkey, that's it. You know, it's like the salutation. You see a brother, hey, shalom, how about you? Oh, they already know what's going on. Looking for something?
No more clear. Acts 9:15, but the Lord said unto him, go thy way, for he is a chosen vessel unto me to bear my name before the Gentiles and kings and the children of Israel.
Read that again?
Acts 9:15, but the Lord said unto him, go thy way, for he is a chosen vessel unto me to bear my name before the Gentiles and kings and the children of Israel.
That's crazy because we actually were talking about this precept this morning. The same precept, remember we read it? So we were talking about how we're going to actually open the lesson with that.
And the Lord has to where Spirit is that area all the way back in.
Acts 9. Remember that.
Yeah, because at that point, Paul, the chosen vessel was Paul. That's really what the title of the lesson would have been, chosen, right? The chosen vessel was the Apostle Paul, who, now see, when Paul was Saul, that's it.
So we started talking about the Lord brought Gentiles up here and they got edified.
They're Gentiles.
Right.
Yeah. In past times, the chosen vessel.
Talking about the Israelite, the Hebrew speaking Jews versus the Greek speaking Jews. You know?
Yep. And now, pretty much they refer to any Israelite that wasn't born in the land as a Greek, like a Greek speaking Jew, because when you go back to the time of Alexander, you had something called the lingua franca, which means the common language, like the world language. So Alexander's pan-Hellenistic idea was all the lands he conquered from Macedon to India, all those lands over there, the main language was what? Greek, Greek, Hellen. So people became Hellenized. So the main tongue, like today you have English. Everywhere you go, you have the native language, and then you have English. This is why the Apostle Paul was the perfect man for the job, because he spoke Greek. So everywhere Paul went, he could speak to everybody that was there because they all spoke the lingua franca, which was Greek. Right. So when they refer to you as Grecian, you may be an Israelite born in the East somewhere, or in Europe somewhere, or in Asia Minor somewhere, but you're still considered Grecian or Hellen or Hellenista because that was the pan-Hellenistic idea that Alexander spread. But yeah, going back to that vision, the Apostle Paul was still a chosen vessel even when he was called Saul. Before he knew. Even when he was persecuting the church, he was still a chosen vessel. He didn't become a chosen vessel, he was always a chosen vessel. Right. He just had corrupt. That's it. So that's how the Lord deals.
It just has to play out.
That's it.
You see that today too in America. No matter where you come from, they put American on it.
Yeah.
It's the same. That's how you know it's the same spirit doing this right now. Because they change everybody into American. They don't want you jacking wherever you came from.
Yeah. African American, Asian American, Indian American.
Some people actually will call themselves American before they say what their nationality is. They'll be like, nah, I'm American.
Yeah. But American is not nationality.
Yeah, that's why somebody asks you, but where you from? Where your parents from? They ask you, what's your ethnicity?
Yeah,
Like, oh, I'm
ethnicity,
this, I'm from there. Okay.
They'd be like, I'm from here. I was born here, so I'm American.
But yeah, America is not a person. Well, Amerigo Vespucci is, but America is not a person. You know, it's a citizenship, not a nationality. And people don't know the difference between the two.
Rome,
Yeah.
citizenship.
That's that he was a Roman citizen.
He knew he said I'm a Hebrew. So he even said he knew he was of the tribe of Benjamin. So if nationality didn't matter, why would he even mention it?
So he was a Roman citizen because he had a Roman citizenship, which gave him certain privileges. But Ananias was told, look, go and give Paul his sight back. I'm going to give you spiritual power to give him his sight back. And then Ananias is saying, Paul, this guy is the same guy. He done persecuted us. He done consented on to Stephen's death. He did all this shit. I got to go give him his sight back. He said, hey, my man, he's a chosen vessel unto me. You do my will, remember that. So he got up because Paul had seen in a vision a man named Ananias coming there to give him his sight back. So the Lord said, I need to really show Paul, you know what I mean, that it's me. So he's like, you're going to go there and you're going to give him that sight back. Or else I'm going to make you do it.
That's how I drove about 30, about 15.
Yep.
Back then they also had city-states, you know. And in Revelation 18 called Babylon, which is a country today, they call it the Great City. And the root word in citizenship is city, because America is nothing but a great city, and that's why when you get access to the city, they give you what citizenship, which from the root word city. So it all ties in.
It makes sense because when you look at it, America being a big city, that's why you have something known as a federal law, right? It's that one law that governs the whole city, the whole land. And then within the land, you have states, which we looked at as city-states, like the elder was saying, small little states within the city. You know what I'm saying? Small little states, which the word state means condition, right? That's why every state has a different type of condition, different types of people, and so on and so forth.
Different laws.
That was crazy.
Yeah, so that was pretty much it. Yeah, so anyway, that's pretty much it. You know, Lord willing, that was edifying to the elect. We're going to close it here. We want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakakadash.